evacuees. And we're also keeping a close watch on Tropical Storm Moke, starting to drench Hawaii with potentially more than a foot of rain 7 days after 4 feet of rain fell on the Big Island with Lala. America's listening to Fox News.
Life moves fast, and it's easy to feel spiritually drained. That's why InTouch.org is here to help you stay grounded in God's Word every day. At InTouch.org, you'll find biblical teaching from Dr. Charles Stanley, daily devotionals, free resources, and messages that speak directly to what you're facing. Whether you need encouragement, clarity, or a moment to reconnect with God, it's all right at your fingertips. Discover a place to grow your faith and find real hope at InTouch.org.
Shh, here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It is the Morning Extra. Los and Tug and Los, but no Tug. One more day. Victor Armendariz, good man, showing up, making sure to jump in on an early Monday morning as we'll be getting this week going for you. But, okay, you brought this up, and, all right, first off, Victor, I will tell you. So that's Victor. I'm Los. What's up? We're going to be taking you till 10 o'clock. First off, whenever we get into weather talk, like my eyes glaze over and I start to be like, oh, my God, I don't want to do it. And Tug is really, he loves it just because he loves it being hot. But I'm with you. I got up this morning. I went outside. I went, oh. Now, it's going to be like 90 degrees today, but it still felt good this morning getting up and getting out of here.
I mean, it was a clear change. Now, granted, I have a bunker up in the mountains, so I'm north, pretty good north, but still walking outside, you could tell a change. The humidity wasn't there.
Yes.
And it was, I mean, where I was, it was about 60 degrees.
I've been wearing the uniform all summer long, and the uniform to me, so that's always going to be shorts and a pullover, and quite honestly, when I go outside, I take the pullover off because the building's always cold, and I'm just what I end up doing. But when I can finally wear the uniform during the fall and then into the winter, like I'm extremely happy. I just listen. I love the pool. I need to get in another pool weekend or anything else, but bring it on because that's football season to me. That's big time baseball in this area. All the things that I really enjoy about living in the South start when we get into September.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and I will agree with you there. I'm a little bit like Tug, where I like being hot. I don't like being cold, but I do enjoy that change in the fall.
Both of y'all are weenies.
Yeah, that's right. No, but I do enjoy because you can just tell. Where I was up in Tennessee yesterday. Now, granted, I'm only about an hour away just from where I am, but there's the people that are talking college ball already.
Oh yeah,
that air is there. I mean, that's that wind, I should say, is blowing. Where if you're wearing orange and you're in the wrong place, or you're wearing red, or you're not wearing red and black, I mean, it's happening.
I was going to get into some Braves baseball, but I do have to jump into this as well. So there's chaos that is going on in college football. So for all of you out there who are waiting for college football, just know this is going to center around Lane Kiffin and what is going on. So the NCAA, as of about 2 months ago, they'd been proposing this discussion that what they were going to allow is the 5-to-play-5 rule. And what that meant was by the time that you're graduating class of high school, you have 5 years to play 5 years. That's the new standard. It used to be, well, you're going to have 4 years, but you could take a red shirt, and so you end up being in college for 5. Now it's just 5 to play 5, and here's how it's going to be. Well, there is a young man right now who is in camp with the Cleveland Browns, who originally signed with the Philadelphia Eagles as an undrafted rookie free agent. His name's Daquan Wright. And he gets waived by them. He goes to camp with the Browns. He's going to be waived by the Browns. And because of the court rulings related to this, he's going to LSU to go play after he gets waived by the Cleveland Browns. This is going to be chaos for anyone that believes that, like, I always joke around about it. Oh, it's no longer win one for the Gipper. It is a semi to a professional sport now, and so you got to get used to it. I know Tug hates the fact that college football is turning into what it's turning into.
Yeah. Well, I kind of get it, because some people will say, well, are you a educating or are you just about the sports? So I get the concern with some people, but I thought this was just I just thought this just from somebody who's outside looking in, who just, I like sports. I mean, yes, I'm a soccer guy, but I still love it when college season starts, because people just go crazy about this stuff. But I think it's cool that the dude is getting away from professional, and he's like, well, I'm going back to school.
He's like, the money is at school.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I remember, like, when you and I are both old enough to remember when they started allowing professionals into the Olympics, and how much that was, oh my God, you're ruining amateurism.
Yeah.
Well, then it turned into, no, we have the best players on the planet that are now taking part in what should be this biggest event. I don't know. This is going to be a tough sell for people, because we saw this in college basketball, where they started to say, hey, you can't have G Leaguers going back to college. Well, we're going to see. This is going to play out in the courtroom. We're going to have players that are going to be cut in training camp, because as we're getting now down like about the last week and a half or so of training camp, you're going to have players that are going to be cut, and they're all going to be filing to head back to college.
Go back to college. Oh. So, I mean,
it's Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes.
back to school.
That's exactly where I was going to go with this. That is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, Bryce, put it on your list. But back to school. So, and maybe you can tell me this, is there an age limit? I mean, could somebody say, hey, I never played 5 years?
It's their ruling, and it's only going to apply to those players that are part of their graduating class. They exhausted their 4 years, and even though it wasn't supposed to apply to them retroactively, they're able to say, hey, I still got a 5th year. Here was my graduating class in high school. In this case, he was a 2022 entrant, so he technically has this year. If the current rules apply to him, which that is what these guys are basically filing to make sure they do.
So I think what may happen here is, when he gets cut by the Browns and he's at LSU, does he have a successful season? And does that change people's view on it?
I think a lot of this comes down to, if I can go back to college, and in this case, he was a solid player at Ole Miss, and a solid player at his position is probably $75,000 to $100,000. Well, if you're not going to make any money in the NFL, why not go get it? And this is always going to be, and this is the capitalist argument that I keep getting into about this stuff. I remember when we had Burt Jones in studio when he was running for governor, and he is a former college football player, loves college football, and we had this discussion. It's hard to make the capitalist argument and say, here's a job, which basically is what college football has become. And while the professor can be at college for 30 years and have tenure and make
tenure,
but the player cannot.
Yeah.
And what is the value of that? They're
tough. Using the image of the player. They're using their face. They're using the college uses them. So
it's an exchange, at least now.
Yeah.
As far as, yes, I'm getting all this out of you, but now you can make money off your name, image, and likeness. I just think that the argument for something when it comes to a sport that's not collectively bargained, there is no group that decides how much or how it's going to work. I think this is now turning into where we'll see players. Like, there was a player at Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia, who he's now out of the league. If Diego Pavia wanted to go back to college football, legally he could.
He could.
And then the argument becomes, well, why would he leave ever?
Right.
Just because the NCAA arbitrarily says you only get 5 years after your graduating class, well, why not take that to court to say, in a capitalist society, who can say that I only get to do this for this amount of time when I'm being paid to do so?
That's a good point.
It's an argument.
That is an absolute argument. If you've got the ability, then who's to say if somebody wants to offer you some money for exchange of your services, if you can still keep up?
And that's the thing. In the competitive environment, because we always talk about it, personal responsibility and competitiveness. And basically, if I'm one of the best, well, then I should be compensated accordingly. Why are we putting an arbitrary rule on a sport that's no longer an amateur sport for how long you can play it?
Yeah.
If Victor can step on a soccer pitch right now and still compete, who's to say that he's not allowed to?
So I am not going to lie to you, Los. When this court thing came out, I was like, oh, man, I can go back and play soccer.
I got one more year.
I can't because I am on the wrong side of old, but it was fun to think about.
Sure.
It was fun to go, ooh, I could, because before I blew my knee out last year, I was still playing at the Atlanta Silverbacks and just some fun leagues, and I was still outrunning 20-year-olds. Now I had the speed. Now I don't have the endurance.
Yes, but the burst lasts a little shorter, but the burst is good.
Yes. There's no doubt.
But that is the argument that I get into, and I'm glad this kind of came down when it did, because as I was reading through it last night into this morning, it rekindles the discussion. If we are in a capitalist environment with a sport that is not collectively bargained, who's to say, if I can still play it, that you're arbitrarily telling me how long I can play it for?
You are going to have to be a guest on 680 The Fan.
You know what? This is one of those that I kept telling people for years when I was over there that we are moving towards, I used to call it was Super D1, that eventually the main colleges are all going to break away from the NCAA and say we're doing our own thing. It's our own league. And now that discussion has now started, at least at the SEC level, the Big Ten level, where they've talked about, well, what if we just set up our own Super League and we do our own rules? And now you're basically running a minor league system with major college football.
That is a great way to put it, because they are. They're the minor league system. They're the development system for the NFL.
Well, and in some cases, some of these quarterbacks, it's normally quarterbacks, they're commanding $4 to $5 million a year, which that's NFL backup money. Your first contract in the NFL, because again, collectively bargained, you may, let's say you're a 6th round pick and you end up winning the backup quarterback job. Well, that year you're going to make $750,000. And of course, you'll have your bonuses off your contract and everything else. But good number, just call it $750 million. She took a $3 or $4 million pay cut to go be an NFL player when you could have stayed in college for $4 or $5 million.
Wow,
that's how it works now. That's how the game's played. So that's how that goes.
So are we going to lose good backups because of this?
What we're seeing is it used to be with the old collective bargaining agreement that came in 2010. It used to be that guys tried to get out of college as quickly as possible so that they could start their NFL clock. Basically, the way it works in the league is you are not eligible for a new contract until after your 3rd season. So guys tried to get in as quickly as possible to get through their first 3 to get that money. Well, now they're looking at it and going, why am I going to leave over here? And so the guys coming into the league now are no longer the 22-year-old player. They're the 24-year-old player, the 25-year-old player. So it's kind of changed the dynamic of the ages.
That really is changing. That's going to change. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and another court ruling. This is how things go. I don't know if you got a chance to catch any of it last night. If you didn't, the Atlanta Braves ended up winning the Little League World Series Classic.
That is such a cool game.
It was a cool setup. Awesome. So what they did is you had the series in Milwaukee. And the Braves dropped the first couple to the Brewers. They won last night 4-2. But the teams flew out to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and they were interacting with all of the teams. So you had the Japanese team, the Latin American teams, the American teams, and everybody who's there in Williamsport at this championship level, because that'll be decided this week as the tournament goes on. Here are the Braves and here are the Brewers, and everybody in the stands are all Little League Baseball players. So a really cool idea from Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball. It looked cool last night. It was fun to see. Now, you didn't have like the regular replay system and a couple of things, and it was a smaller park. What do you think, Bryce? Maybe like 2,500, 3,000?
Yeah, somewhere around there, if that.
So it was real intimate, and it was all kids and their parents. And so a really cool thing last night to see that Major League Baseball did.
That's I heard about that, and I did not see it. But I thought my first thing was the same. I was like, that sounds really awesome. And what a cool thing to do for those kids.
Oh, yeah. And what they were
awesome.
They were showing it. So a couple of the players had gotten on their phone, and this is just, our modern society, So they were using their Google app with their Google Translate. And so they would ask questions to, for instance, the Japanese players, play it on their phone, and then the Japanese player would respond back. And that's how they were interacting.
That's awesome.
Which, I mean, let's face it, 10 years ago, you would have just been signing autographs and high-fiving and doing whatever,
And
but they
smiling.
were actually smiling.
Yeah.
They were actually smiling and interacting with all the kids out there.
That's awesome.
It was a really cool event. We do have an off day today for the Atlanta Braves before the Los Angeles Dodgers come to Truist
What a
Park.
stretch.
Yeah, you talk about a run right now where you're seeing nothing but first place ball clubs. That's what they got going on. Lead is now 2.5 over the Phillies, who won't lose. They just keep winning, and so we'll see how this week ends up playing
They're
out.
juicing.
Also, last night, if you happen to miss it, and judging by how this works, you should. But I want to kind of peel back the onion a little bit. So, ESPN, as of this year, lost UFC. They were the primary pusher of the UFC. That's who their contract was with. And that's why you had all the pay-per-views that were ESPN. They would have regular programming that was UFC. That went over to Paramount and Paramount Plus, and that's where that all is now. They jumped for like $8 billion. Huge TV contract for the UFC. Well, so what was going to kind of step into the void? And ESPN, one of the things they looked at was, well, we have our contract with the WNBA, so let's make sure that we keep it above the fold when it comes to old newspaper talk, but it's on the internet. And so last night, Enes Kanter Freedom, the former NBA player, went to a game in which case he had on a shirt that gave the definition of a woman. He's been at the forefront, along with Royce White, as far as saying, hey, I want to go play in the league. Since you can't define what a woman is, I'm a woman.
I'm a woman.
When that occurred, one of the players on the court who saw him, and he had both arms out like, check out my shirt. And she started at him, and Enes Kanter ended up being escorted by WNBA security out of the facility. Now, part of it, when it gets political, people are going to be like, why was he doing that? What a joke. Man, ESPN loves this stuff right now because this is the only way that people are talking about the league on a show like this and around the country.
Yep. That's the only, I mean, they all, well, it just cracks me up because they're getting clicks, of course, and they're getting viewership, which they weren't really having before. I mean, the league can't survive on its own, so now they're going to milk this as long as they can.
Well, the NBA has long subsidized this league. Now, last year was the first year, and this is the Caitlin Clark effect, the guard from the Indiana Fever who came from Iowa. She packs out every arena she goes to, yet the league will not promote her. Last year was the first year that they can actually show they were in the plus in terms of revenue, what they were able to make versus what they were spending. And so that's when the players putting their hands out like, well, we need more money. New collective bargaining agreement. You haven't made money in 30 years. Yeah. Make a little bit of money, and suddenly this is what you want. But this is now turned into an issue that I don't believe that the league wants to solve it, and ESPN definitely doesn't want to solve it, because this is going to be all over every single one of the sports channels. Every single one of the sports talk shows is going to be talking about it. We end up having to jump into it because of the ramifications of not being able to determine what a woman is. This is the only way that the WNBA is getting love, and it's because of two men who want to play in it, Victor.
Yeah, that's the part you just can't make up. Hollywood couldn't have made this a better scenario, but you are 100% right. The fact that the fact that W, that I was told stood for women's NBA, that they can't define what a woman is. At some point, this is all going to come to a head because there's going to be a dude somewhere who thinks he's a woman, just like that swimmer guy, who's going to go try to get on this league. And what are they going to do? They're going to have to let him in.
So just so you know, if you go back like 30 years, that's when we had the movie Joanna Man, which was a failed basketball pro who decided.
Who was in that?
Oh, I don't even remember.
I know that. I remember the movie. I just don't remember.
Where he pretended to be a woman so he could play in the women's league.
I've said this before. Why does do Democrats and just other, I guess apparently the WNBA, think that Hollywood's not making movies, they're making documentaries because they're turning this stuff into...
It was so ridiculous that 30 years ago we had a joke movie. It was a comedy about a man who went to go play with women and had to hide his identity. Now, not so much. All right, when we get back, that's Victor. I'm Los. This is the Morning Extra. Tug will be back tomorrow. We'll be taking you all the way until 10 o'clock this morning, leading you up to Glenn Beck. All right, when we get back, we got a chance to catch up with Dr. Rich McCormick from Georgia's 7th District, talking about the future of where the economy is going with AI, along with the push for the SAVE Act. We'll talk about that next right here on the Morning Extra, right here on Extra 106.3.
Your favorite Extra shows are streaming live video from the studio on Extra 106.3's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Extra YouTube channel and get the Morning Extra and the Kimmer Show in live digital video.
There's a lot riding on every digging project. You want it done and over with. And the utility companies want their underground lines untouched and intact. Georgia 811 helps connect the dots. If you're digging, submit your ticket to us at least 3 business days before the project starts. We'll notify our utility members, and they'll send locators to mark their lines at your site. Georgia 811, connecting the dots for safe digging.
Sponsored by Georgia 811.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com.
At Jim Ellis Chevrolet, buying your next vehicle can be as simple, convenient, and personal as you want it to be. With the Jim Ellis Expressway, you can start or complete your entire purchase online right from home.
Shop at your own pace, on your own time, with no pressure. Prefer to handle things independently? You can. Want guidance along the way? A knowledgeable Jim Ellis Chevrolet sales professional is ready to help whenever you need it.
Value your trade, explore payment options, complete your purchase online, and even have your new vehicle delivered to your home.
Buying online may be convenient, but having the right dealership behind you matters. Jim Ellis Chevrolet is a local, family-owned dealership built on trust, transparency, and long-term relationships.
Unlike some national auto dealers, Jim Ellis Chevrolet takes care of you before the sale, during the purchase, and long after you drive home.
Convenience makes buying easier. Trust makes owning easier. Visit JimEllisChevrolet.com
or stop by the dealership on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter. Jim Ellis Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Your yard, it stresses you out. Between the watering, the seeding, the weeding, and mowing. And no matter what you do, you're never satisfied. Have you thought about artificial turf? It's low maintenance, pet friendly, and looks amazing all year round. ATL Turf Co. is Atlanta's top choice for artificial grass installation. Let them build you a custom golf or putting green, outdoor kitchen, or pool deck. They even specialize in custom concrete and stonework. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at atlturfco.com. That's atlturfco.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, August 24th, and here are your headlines. Former NBA player Enes Kanter Freedom says he was kicked out of a WNBA game after a heated confrontation with Chicago Sky guard Natasha Cloud. Freedom claims Cloud cursed at him and made vulgar remarks after he celebrated a three-pointer made by Indiana Fever star Sophia Cunningham. Security eventually escorted Freedom out of the arena. North Point Mall in Alpharetta could be getting a major makeover, and possibly professional hockey, as developers are proposing a massive mixed-use redevelopment featuring a sports complex tied to a potential NHL team a 2,000-seat arena, a 20,000-seat arena, hotels, apartments, and restaurants, and other retail stores. One proposed condition would require an NHL franchise to be awarded before residents can move into apartments. And finally, a new hospital is being planned for Atlanta's South Side. Morehouse School of Medicine and Atrium Health are investing more than $700 million into a project on the Metropolitan Parkway. The city expected to contribute more than $115 million. Hospital is expected to open with 50 beds and eventually expand to more than 700. It'll be nothing but sunshine today across all of Atlanta with a high of 91 and a low of 66. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Tug and Los. No Tug, still Los. Have Victor, though.
Yeah.
On our phones right now, we are joined by Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick. Congressman, how are you doing this morning?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Very well, sir. Very well. I know we'll get a chance to talk about the success that the job fair was, getting a chance to see that last month in Alpharetta. But I want to start off by getting a chance to talk to you about what you've got coming up on August 28th, the Protect the Vote Grassroots Dinner Seminar, really focusing on the Save America Act. Tell the audience about what you've got going on with this group coming up.
You know, this is one of those things that's very frustrating. We got to put the pressure on the Senate to pass something that most of America wants overwhelmingly. Every demographic, it doesn't matter what race, background, religion, state, even which party you belong to, having accountability in voting is something that everybody wants. You don't want your vote to count if you're not qualified, and you definitely want to have your vote counted if you are qualified. Now, ironically, even if you went for a simple majority, this is what a lot of people don't realize. Why Thune doesn't bring it up for the vote is he doesn't have the majority, a simple majority. So even if you got rid of the filibuster, there's several senators who are basically upset with Trump for one reason or another. Some of it's just personality driven, that will not vote for something that's good for America. The only way you switch that is by having the leader of the Senate basically bring it to the floor and have the mob, if you will, the people rise up and put pressure on these guys to do the right thing. Otherwise, it's never going to get across the finish line. We're trying to draw attention to this. We're trying to get the people stirred up, get them to call their senators, and get this done.
Hey, Dr. Richard McCormick, this is Victor.
Hey, Victor.
Listen, this is an absolute pleasure. And I just to give you a little bit of background on me, I'm known as the Mexican not afraid to be American because my father came here. he came here the right way. He came here legally, came here on a work visa, worked his fingers to the bone. That man worked 3 jobs at a time for the longest time to take care of his family. And I will never forget when he came home and he obtained his, I never saw my dad cry. He had tears in his eyes when he came home because he obtained his United States citizenship. And he so much loved that he could vote. And he takes it to heart and taught us to do that. My father is now 91 years old, will not miss a vote. And so I find it hard that, so why do politicians in Washington have such a hard time understanding how meaningful the vote is, and why is it such a bad thing to protect it?
Well, one of the things that really bothers me is I think some people have idealistic reasons and they try to justify it in their hearts, but I think most of them understand this is a good way to cheat. If you don't have to use ID, and by the way, this is not just the United States. Every state, every country in the world has modified their voting in some way or another. Even France, they tried to do mail-in ballots, realized this isn't working. France, once again, we talked about France before, right? When France is leading you, you got problems. They've led us in nuclear power. They're leading us in the way that you have voter accountability. And this is a country. Let's face it, they have the most expensive used rifles in the world for a reason. They've never been shot, and they've only been dropped once, right? But when we look at the common sense things to do, I mean, it's just a common sense. There's several Democrats, by the way, that agree with us on this, too. Some people get a little bit wary when they talk about a digital ID, but that's a way to get rid of fraud, too. Some people don't want to be tracked. I get it. But ultimately, when you have accountability everybody wins. And by the way, I've been to those ceremonies where people become citizens and you have to earn it. You have to actually study. I think these people a lot of times know more about America than a lot of kids coming out of high school, which is sad. But the amount of pride and the emotion and something that's so valuable to them that a lot of Americans actually take for granted, and that they don't even bother voting. Man, I tell you what, the immigrants who come here the right way and follow the law and become part of America's fabric, that's something that's special.
Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. Congressman, want to also ask about something that you've brought up on social media, and it's something that Americans are aware of. We're aware and we know about companies that work with operational debt. Our country being $40 trillion in debt. I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we're talking about balanced budgets or fixing that debt, but it feels like one of those strains that we constantly are seeing in the marketplace. Victor brought it up, what's going on in the bond market. It is a concern for everyday Americans. How does Congress plan to, at some point, address some of this stuff?
You know, every once in a while we get looking the other way, and there's so much going on in the world that we forget about the debt, except for when we reach milestones. $40 trillion. We've had the bond market a couple times in the last couple months get stirred up because the interest rates, when you have that high of a debt, $40 trillion, I mean, nobody else in the world can even come close to it. Of course, our GDP is roughly $30 trillion, and our actual overall wealth is still very, very, very high. It's over $100 trillion. But this is concerning. And what people forget sometimes, unless we reach a milestone, which is a good reason to highlight it, is how much that's going to burden us and our children into the future. Right now, we pay about every time that interest increase on borrowing, because we become more and more risky the higher that debt goes. We have to pay more interest on the money. It's like having a credit card. With too much on the credit card, your interest rate goes up because you're actually a higher risk. So right now we're paying $1 trillion in interest payments per year. To put this in perspective, we bring in about $5 trillion a year in tax revenue. $5 trillion. Now, and I think about that. That would take us 8 years to pay off the debt if we didn't have a government and we didn't have an interest rate payments. That's crazy. Now, to make it worse, we're going up by about $2 trillion per year in additional debt because we overspend by about 30%. Now, this is a bipartisan problem, by the way. Here's the problem. Social Security will go bankrupt in this next presidency. It's a sure thing. It's objective truth. There's no way to get around it right now. If we solve Social Security, quote unquote, and we figured a way to solve it in the future, it still would go bankrupt because we waited too long. We always wait till the last second, then we come up with a bad solution. We're reactive instead of proactive. It's a political football hot potato, if you will, and we're not handling it right now. So what's going to happen is when that happens, we're not going to allow it to go bankrupt. That would be an automatic 21% cut by law. So we're going to bail it out again, adding a massive amount of deficit spending. We're going to be $50 trillion in debt by that time, which is, well, or close to that. And we're going to be paying $2 trillion in debt because this is what happens when your interest rates go up. Now, this is the scary thing, though. There's a reason that America is the standard of currency in the world, which, by the way, gives you a lower borrowing rate, better trading, and it also helps you with those with tariffs and everything else. But if that goes away, and then we're not going to go to BRICS, because BRICS, which is from China and other countries, they've got their own problems. We're still the prettiest of ugly babies. But if this continues, we may be replaced by standard coin or something else like that. And then this great ride that we've had since the 40s with Bretton Woods, where we replaced gold as the currency standard, will kind of go away. And that's going to be really devastating to our economy. And I'm really concerned about that most of all.
You know, this is Victor again, Congressman. So what scares me a little bit about all this is you've got some, and I call them social media Republicans, that are out there actually trying to put out and say that we don't need to be the world's currency. I don't think I have to tell you how dangerous it would be if the dollar was not the world currency. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because we at least for me, how come, or let me put it this way. What would it take to get Congress to go, okay, we're going to have operational debt. We don't need to be 50 trillion. We shouldn't even be at 40 trillion. But here we are. We're here. So let's attack this. So why can't we do something? For instance, let's stop punishing achievement with our progressive tax code and move to something like a consumption tax to where we really can really go on a growth trajectory, because the only way to beat this debt is through growth. But then at the same time, can we implement something like the penny plan or something where we say, okay, we have to stop the increases of spending. We're going to keep spending, but we got to stop the increases? Or, I mean, is there anything that we can convince the Congress in Washington that this has to be addressed, and we better do it soon, or it's going to get out of control?
You know, the great Neil Bortz, who was just on a commercial in between your show break there, came up with the fair tax, which is essentially a consumption tax. It gives a special set aside for people who are impoverished. And it's a little bit hard to explain. That's why we couldn't do it, because we were vilified instantly. Anytime you get rid of a system that has a bunch of loopholes for the big players, the lobbyists, if you will, there's always going to be pushback. And then there's also the fear of the unknown. It's just like when, here, let me give you a perfect example. This came up the other day, too. George W. Bush, who's never talked about pretty much anymore, but he came up with the idea that you privatize just 10% of Social Security. What does that mean? You're going to pay into something that you get access to directly. It's going to be invested in the market, by the way, which would have outperformed, some people say, up to 10 times what happens with Social Security, which gets no interest rate. And you get back a pittance, because if you die, that money goes back to the government. Whereas with a privatized Social Security, it's kind of like a 401k. It gets interest, a much higher interest. You're going to make a lot more money. And some people say that 10% that he would have set aside for privatization would have outdone the rest of the 90% because of the return. Plus, you get to keep it. Imagine that. But, of course, we resist it. We vilify it. We say, oh, he's the bad guy. And now we have this system, once again, that's going bankrupt. Same thing with the consumption tax. We can't have who's going to get a cutout. You don't. It's plain and simple. Everybody pays their fair share, as the Democrats like to say all the time. But once again, they're not really interested in that. As a matter of fact, here's the other nefarious thing. If the Democrats got everything they were asking for, every free social program, free health care, they free whatever else they're promising, guaranteed next year they'd come back, we'd be in 50% deficit spending, and they'd come back and say they'd have to have something else to promise, because the people are never satisfied with free stuff, because they get into this modern monetary theory that you can just print the money and it's going to be okay. That's going to run out. And matter of fact, as Margaret Thatcher once said, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. And there's no way you're going to tax the billionaires and still make up for that deficit. It's past that already. As a matter of fact, if you took away all their money, it still doesn't make up for the deficit spending. And by the way, you'd crash the economy, because those guys are the ones who invest the most in creating jobs and economy.
Congressman Dr. Rich McCormick is our guest on the Morning Extra. Let's talk about that future, because one of the versions of seeing massive growth, and I know Elon Musk has talked quite a bit about it, is the development of AI and eventually getting to the point where we're going to be so efficient, there's going to be so much for everyone. And a lot of that tracks back to the data center discussion. Talk about that importance of staying ahead of China, finding the right communities for data centers. Not everybody wants them, but they do offer some economic benefit.
Yeah, very few communities do want them, and they become vilified to the point where I'm worried we're going to lose the future. I mean, AI is one of the most important, it is the most transformative technology we've ever seen in our lifetime, easily. This will change everything. We're going to solve cancer, guys. We're going to keep up in military technologies that are going to be transformative to the future. We've never lived in a time. Nobody alive right now has ever been in a more transformational time in military technology and tactics. The amount of AI and what it does for us, not just about changing your picture or whatever we do on ChatGPT or any other.
That's what I do and what Victor does. Yeah, we're not at that level of curing cancer.
But I've run a company right here in our district that use it to come up with chemicals that are going to solve very real problems for Americans and for industry that's going to create wealth and jobs and everything else. And it's going to solve so many things. Here's the deal. As first of all, there's been a lot of lies out there. It doesn't. Any new data center does not consume water. I've seen these articles. Oh, it uses 5 million gallons a day. It's not true. The old systems used to use the cooling, they'd use evaporation. It did consume a lot of water. Now it's all a closed system, kind of like a radiator. So that doesn't happen anymore. That's new technology. That's the way we advance, guys. The fact that they use energy, they're gonna pay for it and more. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have microgrids where we're gonna have modular reactors and gas turbines and these fuel cells. Fuel cells basically put out almost no carbon imprint into the atmosphere. They're very, very efficient. They're great. You can actually overproduce energy, and it'll benefit your energy grid and actually bring your energy costs down. So all the things that people, it's noisy. No, it's not. They're not going to be close enough to anyone that and they don't make that much noise. And people are like, well, it only creates temporary jobs. Yeah, like every other construction job out there. Every construction job is temporary until you get your next construction site. So all the objections are actually, I believe, driven by a very nefarious system, by the way, which I think is funded. My theory is it's funded by China or other bad actors who are competing with us, because we had one site that we actually have an FBI investigation where it was a very rural community. There was no reason for all these people to be uptight about this data center. It was going to be way away from everybody's house. And they had 250 people show up to the town hall to protest. Well, they checked IDs. 90% of the people weren't even from that community. Nowhere close. They're being shipped in from as far away as California. These were paid professionals. Who's paying them? Because that's kind of worrisome to me. And when you start losing the narrative and we don't have enough data centers or energy production, China will kick our butts. And this is the race of our lifetime. This is the next space race. If we get this wrong, it will not just hurt our economy, but everything we think is important into the future.
Well, you said it right there, Congressman. We lost the narrative, and I would love to see the GOP try and get this narrative back, because there are some good stories to be told. Zuckerberg is one of them. I mean, Zuckerberg, the last time I checked, is no big right-winger or GOPer, but the guy, if you go look at what he's doing with his data centers and how they're actually a nice aesthetically buildings to look at, and he's building parks, he's building libraries, he's making it a community, and the media has taken this narrative, and I think the GOP has kind of gotten behind the 8 ball here when they need to come back out and start saying the good things that are coming from these data centers. Not just that if you're a streamer or you're a video gamer or you're doing anything on social media.
A morning host that does weird stuff with pictures, yeah.
Right, with the pictures. You can't do that without these data centers. And you are 100% right. I can tell you, because I've been following some of this and doing some of the research, because just as back when Ronald Reagan was fighting Moscow, you had these foreign entities coming into this country funding resentment and funding, just stirring the pot, let's just say. That's what China's doing. China does not want the United States to lead in anything. And I think what the GOP needs to do, maybe, Mr. McCormick, and I would love your opinion on this, what point will it be, or will it take for us to get to the point where the GOP can say, hey, look, China's not our friend. They don't have our interest at heart, and they're running TikTok, and I know they don't own it anymore, maybe, but come on, we see what the algorithms are doing. China's not our friend, so when can we get to the point and be honest about that?
Well, you can't. Most people understand that China is not our friend. Iran, Russia, not our friend. North Korea, not our friend. But what we don't have is we have a lot of politicians that are still playing politics and not leading. You just mentioned Reagan. Reagan would paint a picture and bring you to that conclusion, because that's real leadership. We need leadership in D.C., people that will actually say things that sometimes you don't want to hear. I mean, Profiles in Courage by John F. Kennedy talked about it, where sometimes you stand up against your own party or against popular belief so you can get the truth out there. You can lead the way. Sometimes the truth is not popular until it's explained better. And I think a lot of politicians right now are reacting to, once again, the mob, if you will, that popular pressure that, not my backyard. Here's one solution to the data centers, though. And I've brought this up to the White House. I think you guys will. I want your audience to hear this, because I think there's something that can really be a good solution. Since people don't want it in their area and they're scared of it and they don't want those jobs or whatever, or they don't want the benefits, you know what? Put it on a base. The base can't say no. I mean, it's an executive decision. And then you have it on base with an energy source, and the base starts benefiting from it. They have to lease the land from us, so we get a monetary benefit. They have to produce energy that we can benefit from. That's another benefit. And by the way, we have Fort Gordon right here in Georgia, which is the cybersecurity center of America. Put another data center right next to it for civilians, and then produce the energy and show America that it's clean, it's efficient, it's not going to cause any bad things. And then once America says, oh, that's not so bad, and we have solved the solution. We have tons of bases. Every state just about that have tons of land in the middle of nowhere, and it wouldn't upset anybody.
Congressman, again, congratulations on all the success with the job fair. You do have that event coming up on August 28th. That is the Protect the Vote, a grassroots dinner seminar. You can go, obviously, to Rich for GA over on X. You can get a link right there to RSVP. Best of luck for that upcoming event, Congressman, and we thank you for your time as always.
Love you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Semper Fi.
It is the Morning Xtra right here on Extra 106.3. Los and Tug. No Tug. He'll be back tomorrow from vacation. That's when I'm just going to pull one on him. Suddenly, I'm not going to show up. He'll just disappear. I have to call Victor again.
And I'll be ready.
Victor would be like, I don't know. He said he was going to joke around with you. Just disappear for a day.
I didn't think he was serious.
I thought he was just kidding around. All right, when we get back, let's talk about something that happened in D.C. yesterday. It was actually a ton of fun to be able to take a look at this. That's coming up right here on the Morning Xtra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, August 24th. The Atlanta Braves got a win to close out the weekend in the Little League Classic, beating the Milwaukee Brewers last night 4-2 the final. Tyler Mahle ends up throwing 5 innings of just 1-run ball. Michael Harris II hit his 21st homer of the season. As for the Braves, they are off today before opening up another big series at Truist Park starting tomorrow night as the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers will be in town. More chaos in college football as a court ruling will allow Daquan Wright to join the LSU football team. Wright has been in camp with the Cleveland Browns but will be waived. He is the first player who will return to college football after signing with an NFL team, and for now will get his 5th year of eligibility. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Hey, Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House, and now the thought of the day. There's only a few things that a safe from the Safe House can't protect you from. The biggest one is socialist Democrats trying to steal elections. Does that really happen? Yes, it does. So for real security, drop by the Safe House and let us show you how to protect your hard-earned valuables from theft and fire. We are the exclusive Browning and Fort Knox safe dealer in the area. That's right, we're the only ones. So don't go unprotected. Go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com. That's AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
At Jim Ellis Cadillac, buying your next vehicle can be as simple, convenient, and personal as you want it to be. With the Jim Ellis Expressway, you can start or complete your entire purchase online, right from home. Shop at your own pace, on your own time, with no pressure.
Prefer to handle things independently? You can. Want guidance along the way? A knowledgeable Jim Ellis Cadillac sales professional is ready to help whenever you need it.
Value your trade, explore payment options, complete your purchase online, and even have your new vehicle delivered to your home.
Buying online may be convenient. Having the right dealership behind you matters. Jim Ellis Cadillac is a local family-owned business built on trust, transparency, and long-term relationships.
Unlike some national auto dealers, Jim Ellis Cadillac takes care of you before the sale, during the purchase, and long after you drive home.
Convenience makes buying easier. Trust makes owning easier. Visit JimEllisCadillac.com or stop by the dealership on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter.
Jim Ellis Cadillac, where you can always expect the best.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-869-2045 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-869-2045. That's 800-869-2045. What do you have to lose? Call 800-869-2045. Again, 800-869-2045.
Tug and Los start your day the right way on the Morning Extra.
It does not surprise me one bit that you hit a ball out of Wrigley or that you played golf with those guys, because how you swing it even at your age is very impressive.
Well, yeah, you're very kind. I'm flattered. In fact, I've just been working. I haven't played really officially in like 15 years. I mean, to try to score anything other than like charity tournaments. But again, I mess up on those because I'm usually half. Well, no.
The transfusions do work.
Yes, they do.
No.
They're wonderful.
No. Wait, hold on a minute. What's up there?
Oh!
No, I'm sorry.
I feel like you're cleaning the gun this morning.
It's the guy in the garbage trucks are in there.
Oh, got it.
Well,
What?
you never know. I kind of have a reputation, and I want to make sure.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. Thank you for your time this morning. Tug and Los, although no Tug, he'll be back tomorrow from his vacation, and he did hit me up over the weekend. He was, Victor, I will tell you, that man had a few, and at that point, he just wanted to know what the lyrics to It's the End of the World as We Know It from REM. He's like, yeah, how does it start? I don't remember.
Exactly. How much did he have?
Yeah, so I had to respond back to him and let him know, here's what you need, and go have a good time,
You
brother.
got into any karaoke?
I think that he probably, there's always a possibility. Listen, Tug's adventure. Tug's excitement. He's ready for all these things. He's always ready to go.
I could see him doing that.
Oh, yeah. Tug would not have a problem with getting up on stage and throwing out a couple of tunes. All right, if you didn't get a chance to see this over the weekend, I think it was really highlighted by the Democrats' response to the Freedom 250, the IndyCar race in D.C., and all of their complaints about, well, look what Trump is doing. Well, the story is, you had a portion of your budget when it comes to events that paid for this, but it was largely paid for privately. But another opportunity to just kind of show off something cool we can do in the middle of D.C.
Well, it's manly. And there's masculinity involved, and the Democrats can't stand it. But what people need to understand, and just always remember this and use this as your guide. I was going to say Biden, but if the auto pen had have done this, or Obama, it would have been, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Look how in touch Obama or Biden is with the common man. Because we're talking about racing. That's a very blue collar fan base.
Oh, it's toxic masculinity at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to.
And that's dangerous.
Well, look what we've now had as we've had the celebration of 250 years in this country. You also had the UFC event, which, for my money, was one of the coolest things.
It was awesome.
It looked amazing. And that was paid for from Dana White. Dana White, the president of the UFC, pointed out that was going to cost them. They knew it was going to cost about $50 million to do it. And they were only able to offset it by about $25 million in sponsorship dollars. So as he was asked about it, he's like, y'all ever doing this again? He's like, I can't afford it. He's like, this league would be done if we had events that all ended up costing us $25 million every single time. So that was a one-time deal. It looked amazing. It was incredible.
It was awesome.
And then you follow that up, and I will read this from Adam Schiff, the senator and former congressman from California, who invented a way to go after Trump, and that is now blown up in his face, as we've now seen. While you struggle with the cost of gas, Trump offers you the spectacle of an IndyCar race, hoping you will not notice more taxpayer money spent on self-aggrandizing distractions. Immediately in the comments, this was pointed out, how Penske ended up being the primary funder of this in $35 million. It's like, no. These were the racing organizations that said, this is a great idea. If we can do it, let's do it, and we'll pay for it. And the American people and the people of D.C. get an IndyCar race right in the middle of town.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's when you think about now. Me, I'm biased because I love racing. I mean, I'm a soccer guy, and then I'm put some gas in it, and let's race it. And to for that to be on display when people are so over the swamp in Washington and so many people have such bad views of Washington, what a great thing to do to say, hey, this is your capital and look what we're gonna do. We're gonna put some high octane on the road and race it.
Well, and this is the other portion of this for me. We long have a history of, and this goes back to Roman times, talking about, you know what? Just make sure they got bread in a circus and they'll be fine.
They shall be entertained.
They shall be entertained. But tell me exactly where things are going poorly, where I need some sort of distraction. Because I'm looking around going, you know what? Everyone seems to want to memory hold the fact that the Biden years were a pain in the ass. Okay? Everyone who's like, the price of gas is up. I go, it's much less than what it was under Biden. Now, granted, is it higher? Yes, during this conflict that we're having. But I'm also not dealing with a routine 9% inflation.
And the biggest difference is the Democrats did it to you on purpose, and Trump is actually removing a major threat and making the world safer.
Very simple. That's Victor. I'm Los. I just want to go ahead and say thank you to Subaru of Gwinnett for sponsoring the 6 o'clock hour. Again, our 6 o'clock hour is all brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. All right, when we get back, we have ourselves a blowfish operation. Talk about that next right here on the Morning Extra.
The communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given is the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that. And
did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
We've all heard it before. Buy one, get one windows. 10% off if you call today. $500 off if you sign tonight. But are these really a special? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Hi, this is Candace with Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Don't fall for it. It's exhausting trying to keep up with all the fake specials being offered. And we all say the same thing. We're all licensed, we're all insured, we all have 5-star reviews. At Exovations, we want to earn your business the right way. But don't take our word for it. Let us show you why we say we are different from other contractors. To find out what it means to have an on-time, on-budget, and stress-free renovation, call me today at 770-205-2995 or online at exovations.com. That's exovations.com.
This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Locally owned and heard throughout Georgia on the Extra app.
Ramping up the pressure, CJ Papa, Fox News, and the cracks appear to be showing. Iran's real currency hits a new record low of $2 million to the U.S. dollar in morning trading. Fox's Trey Yink explains from Tel Aviv.
And the United States is set to unleash new economic sanctions against Iran to put new pressure on the regime in Tehran. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent wrote on Sunday, President Donald Trump and the overwhelming might of our military have significantly dismantled Iran's military capabilities and weakened its nuclear program. Now we are entering the end game. At dawn begins an economic D-Day, the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against any adversary. The head head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council responded on X, saying if the economic war continues, not a single drop of oil will be exported, neither through the Strait of Hormuz nor from anywhere in the Persian Gulf.
She's on trial for murdering her 3 little children, and the closing arguments in her case loom. Fox's Nate Foy reporting this morning from outside the courthouse in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
The witness taking the stand will continue from Friday, and it's Dr. Avram Mack, a forensic psychiatrist, who testified on Friday that he believes that Lindsay Clancy was not suffering from postpartum psychosis and that she knew the difference between right and wrong when she killed her 3 children. He interviewed her 2 times and reviewed her medical file as well. The jury heard about that. This case has really become a competing story from 2 expert witnesses. This is after the defense rested its case on Friday with their expert witness, forensic psychiatrist Dr. Philip Resnick, telling the jury that he believes that Clancy did suffer from postpartum psychosis.
The new tariffs placed on Canadian goods from President Trump include wine, hockey sticks, cement, as well as paper and textile products. Now, the president awaits a response from his Canadian counterpart. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're looking for a place to grow spiritually in the middle of a busy life, intouch.org is designed for you. Explore practical, biblical teaching from Dr. Charles Stanley, daily devotionals, free study guides, and messages that speak to real-life challenges. Whether you're searching for direction, comfort, or a deeper understanding of God's Word, you'll find tools to help you take the next step. Discover resources that meet you right where you are at intouch.org.
Shh, here he comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
For hourly Fox News updates and the best in conservative news and talk, keep it on Extra 106.3 or download the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. Tug and Los. No Tug. He's on vacation. Victor Armandaris, good enough to join us. He will be with us for the remainder of the show all the way to 10 o'clock. And if you like what you hear, start kind of picking up the pace here. Start saying, hey, why don't you let Victor hang around at like 10 o'clock and do another show? Because I know what he would love to do is just do a little bit extra, even without me, where he's like, I'm going to run this. I'm going to do this. Wow. I'm going to sail this boat the way I want to sail it.
Man, from your mouth to God's ears.
Just a little suggestion out there.
It would be an honor to follow you and Tug in the mornings.
See? And then we just keep it rolling right over into Clay and Buck.
Yep.
Follow that up with Kimmer, 3 to 6.
And then Mr. V8 driving Kimmer.
That's right. Got the good strong Kimmer. And then follow that up. A little bit of Jesse Kelly in the evening. I don't know what it even means, Kimmer. Yes. Every now and then, Kimmer just responds to the show randomly.
I love it because the Kimmer's driving every day, and just every time he hits the gas pedal, it's toxic masculinity coming out of that exhaust.
That's right. He's got toxic masculinity on his hip at all times.
He sweats it, I think.
Well, speaking of kinky things.
Well, wasn't going to bring that up.
Well, Kimmer, I mean,
I don't know if you noticed when you listen. I mean, I'm sure you felt it when we were here and we were doing the show together. There's a lot of sexual tension on that show.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Between Kimmer and Pete. You knew it.
Yes, without a doubt. And I would say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, probably producer Bryce is going to get a text from the Kimmer.
Holy cow.
Well, you got that much masculinity in one room or in one room in a computer. Yeah. You know, I mean, especially with what Pete's wearing. Like, you're going to have to show an ID in order to get a look at that. In this state, gotta access the Pete link.
Oh, if the listeners only knew.
Yes, exactly. Pete's so much fun.
It's a Monday morning.
Yep. Welcome to Monday. Monday, August 24th. We'll be taking you until 10 o'clock. So thank you for the time this morning. All right, let's get to a first thing you should know about.
I am a morning man. Along the airwaves I do ride, with facts and fire by my side. Many a liberal lost their arguments to my truth. Many a snowflake melted down right in their booth. They tried to cancel me back in 2025. but the Morning Extra's still live.
Speaking of Kimmer, so I want to remind you really quickly, join the Kimmer Show at Shuck and Shack Oyster Bar in Cumming Wednesday from 3 to 6 at 415 Peachtree Parkway. Come hang out with Kimmer and the gang while enjoying fresh oysters, steamed seafood, hot wings, sandwiches, cold drinks, and more. Locally owned and always a good shuckin' time at Shuck and Shack Oyster Bar in Cumming. All right, I was seeing this note online, and I was also reminded of what had gone on last week. So I have a friend of mine who's been involved in the state government for years and now runs Peachtree Pundit. A friend of mine, Scott Turner, used to play adult men's baseball with him now like 20 years ago. It's like how we know, like, we're all getting old. Back when we were all athletic, that's what we were doing. And Scott had spent time in the State House, and he had made a response online about Keisha Lance Bottoms. And there was a few people, but one most notably that was then questioning his view, and he started going back and forth with them. And at one point, somebody goes, dude, Scott, don't even bother. It's just a bot. You're like, well, what do you mean it's just a bot? And the tip on this is always, if you are arguing with Victor online, not that he takes part in that. That's not his game.
I don't.
All right, I do. Like, not all the time. Not all the time. Just randomly, I'm like, all right, I got to make this point, and then we'll go back and forth at it. But for instance, if you happen to see any of Victor's social media, you'll go, like, clearly, that's Victor. It's different when it's Victor 743812. You're like, oh, bot account. Okay. And so here was the note that I was seeing here. This was a report. There's a study. It said most of the accounts reposting party outsider congressional candidates have a foreign or unknown origin. Now, this refers to a lot of the DSA people. And what is going on? We also have this playing out in Georgia with Keisha Lance Bottoms. You have candidates as part of their operation that are routinely buying bots, buying bot farms, so that their views end up being pushed. And not only that, their support, while artificial, makes you feel like it's a bigger deal. It's a blowfish operation. You know the blowfish, in order to scare off its prey or its predators, it fills up with water and suddenly it's so much bigger.
It's bigger. Yeah.
It's not that big. These are blowfish operations that are going on, and they do it because it works. It does create a scenario, Victor, where people think, oh, maybe, in Keisha Lance Bottoms' case, maybe she has a lot more support than I thought. I can't believe this. No, pay attention to where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's it right there. What they want to do is play the algorithm game. If they can get enough bots out and to create, it looks like they've got something to say, looks like they stand for something, and it looks like they have all the support, and then the algorithms start kicking in so that they've reached more people, and it's all fake. And I've seen this, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I will get hit on social media with people either making a comment or trying to follow you, wanting to connect, and they've got numbers. And if I see numbers, if I see your name and a bunch of numbers, you get deleted.
That's when you know that is not a true account. Now, the one that I remember that was the hardest that I ever got hit, and I only remember it because I went, wow, this is nuts, was when, and this is back in like 2022, 2023, when I said remdesivir causes renal failure, causes kidney issues. And it was obviously one of the primary treatments that was going on in the hospitals when it came to COVID. And I was like, why would you give something with a black box warning that we know causes renal failure to people? And the avalanche of fake accounts. Clearly, this is set up, in my opinion, by pharmaceutical companies and to keep this discussion going, that if anyone questioned remdesivir, they had this avalanche of data. It's all bot accounts in your information. And it's meant to silence you. I've used it as let me show you how this game works, and talked about it whenever these sort of topics come up. And when it came to what's going on right now, a candidate like Abdul Muhammad El Sayed, when they went through and took a look at, all right, outsiders versus what are the accounts, it looks like a majority of his accounts that are pushing his information are bot accounts. They're not real.
That's insane. And a lot of some of this is going to come from propaganda campaigns from China and things like that. Just like China's hitting everybody up on social media they're not letting you know it's them, but they're against the data centers. And now you're seeing politicians use it. I mean, Keisha Lance Bottoms and Saeed in Michigan, they have to create this fake environment or who's going to push them, because especially here in Georgia, there's a lot of people in Atlanta that aren't going to vote for. They may not vote for the Republican Jackson, but they're not going to vote because they know what Keisha Lance Bottoms did.
In the case of El Sayed, you have about 52% of the accounts that are advocating pushing for him are in a position where you go, all right, that's either a foreign account or a bot account. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And that's now just part of politics. And I was listening to this over the weekend. I was checking out a portion of a Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking with a former Navy SEAL. And they started talking about the power of bot accounts and what they're used for. And it was a really simple point, not to be insulting, but Joe Rogan pointed out, he goes, people are dumb. Now, what I would say is this. People are easily influenced by what they think is the popular trend, what the mass, now, not on this show and not with this audience, but when people think, okay, which way the wind is blowing, well, that's the way I have to align myself. And this includes politicians.
Oh,
and so when they end up having a bot attack, when they start getting all of this information and clearly, hey, I had this idea for legislation and look how it's being attacked or look how it's being supported, those could be foreign influence and also special interests that have decided, let's use our bot accounts to try and push this to the forefront.
And it's happening. It's been happening. And the problem with politicians, and this is Republicans, it drives me nuts, is they start to fear, oh, but what if this is real? What if this is real? What if there's enough people out there that, and so they start to sway in what they really know is the right thing to do. And there is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, there is a low information voter out there. I mean, there's a lot of the population, unfortunately, that I would consider as a low information voter. And human nature is, if you are tending to believe something, you want to be validated. And when you get hit with these bots, you might be a little quick, like Los said, like you said, you may tend to, oh, they're agreeing with me, I must be right, or they're going in one direction, I better go with them.
Yeah, I must be wrong. Now, I go back to that remdesivir discussion, because I can probably still pull that thing up. Remember, I pulled it up like a year or two ago. And there was a large amount of the accounts that once Elon Musk had gotten control of X, many of them didn't show up on the timeline anymore as far as like accounts that have been deleted. So I'm looking at this where it was like this avalanche. And I'm like citing like, here's information from the WHO. Here's information that we've had in the past that shows remdesivir causes renal failure. And yet it's one after another. You know how many people have been saved by remdesivir in the hospital? You know, I had a personal story that was told to me a few weeks back where the person got remdesivir and he talked about, well, I got out of the hospital, then I found out all the problems it causes and had to deal with that. Well, granted, if you want to sit back and say, well, it helped me survive, or maybe you were going to survive anyway, and here's what happened. But to see all those accounts that were coming down suddenly don't exist any longer, and it's all because of what they've tried to do with X to get rid of some of the, let's face it creates influence.
Yeah. And to that point, back in 21, actually probably was latter part of 2020 going into 2021, the first time I got back then my radio show and station put in YouTube jail was because I had the audacity to cite the CDC website that at one point was saying how masks aren't really going to do anything. I mean, their view on masks that was on their website and then suddenly was changed and gone.
Yeah, this was back in, let's see, this is now July 2020. I still remember because I was at our neighborhood swim pool at the time when I remember reading it. And it was a post, lasted for about 4 hours before the CDC took it down. And at the time, it was pointing out that the average age of death was in the 70s, which was true. It ended up being 78 when it came to COVID. But also, the people that died had an average of 3 to 4 comorbidities. And so if you were a healthy person, you didn't have any kind of issues to really worry about. If you were older and you had some health issues, yes, significantly more. That's good information to have out there. But yet the CDC, because of the response that immediately it got, which was, wait a minute, I'm 30 years old. I'm fully healthy. I'm in great shape. Why am I having to do this stuff? And that's the reason why they had to take it down.
Yeah, and don't go outside. Where again, even on that CDC website, any kind of flu or something that's going on, inside is one of the worst places to be. Outside is a great place to be. But yet they wanted to shut down dog parks, and they shut down regular parks.
Yeah, so a significant amount of the transmission occurred inside the home. Inside.
They made it worse. Well, look what, was it Cuomo up in New York? Who basically wiped out a whole lot of the old population.
Yes, because of deciding to take sick people and put them back in the nursing home. And by the way, when he lost his gig there, and I've pointed this out, it wasn't because of his policies on COVID. It's because he was bad touching someone. Okay? That's when they decided, like, I know you killed more than likely thousands of grandmas and grandpas.
Grandmas, yeah.
But you put your hands on somebody in a familiar way that they did not appreciate, and so that's how they got rid of you.
That was the line.
That's ridiculous. All right, I want to bring this up as well before we finish up this segment. So Keisha Lance Bottoms, I had talked about when I saw the next round when it comes to advertising going after her from Rick Jackson, I went, ooh, like, that's going to be effective. And the reason why I believed it was going to be effective is that you, as a voter, as a taxpayer, we put up with dumb government all the time. I talk about it like we will put up with dumb government. The one thing that both sides don't care for, as far as typical voters, is corrupt government. Corruption, because then it's our money. And even though you're not stealing it directly from my pocket, you're stealing it from my pocket. The story about her using, taxpayer money in order to send her husband to the Super Bowl. All right, is it a perk? Yeah. Is it the end of the world? No. But at the same time, that is hit, and that is working to the point where Keisha Lance Bottoms over the weekend tried to get out in front of this by doing the family thing. Well, I think family should be off limits. I don't think we should bring that into this race. Yeah, because it works.
Yeah.
Because a guy like Rick Jackson, a billionaire, isn't worried about how do I get Victor and Los to pay for my husband's ticket to go see a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
You know, and again, perk of the job, sure. End of the world, no. But in this atmosphere where you're trying to establish credibility, Keisha Lance Bottoms doesn't really have much based on what happened in this town in 2020.
Yeah, but what it shows too, and I speak about this a lot on my show, is the elitism that these Democrats, what they want. When they go get elected, 9 out of 10 times, if not 99% of the time, they're not doing it for you, they're doing it for them. Look at the airport. Look at the people who have made tons of money because of the the government connection with the airport at Hartsfield, and the favors that are cut, the money that's flowing. I'm pretty sure Keisha Lance Bottoms is in some of that.
If this was a mob movie, the airport would be the most valuable resource.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be to the Italian mafia. It's to the Democrat Party.
The Democrat Party. Without a doubt. And that's not, you can't argue with us about that. It's all there. You can look this stuff up.
Well, and I would bring this up as well. I don't think it takes much in this city because we are such a great event town. Again, I draw a distinction. I don't want to live in the city. I think the city does a great job of hosting. Like, I'm not sitting there going like, how do I get near the,
I can vouch for that.
I want to live down over there, near Pond City Market. No, I don't want anything to do with that. But I appreciate the way that we host, the way we do things, the way we do big things in this town. I would tell you that a guy like Mayor Dickens, because he hasn't had the slip-ups or the craziness or some of the stuff that's gone on, that man's going to walk away from being mayor of Atlanta and be able to say, okay, what's my next post? That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Keisha Lance Bottoms messed it up that badly that a town that largely is a can-do city versus like, listen, I lived in Dallas. Dallas is a can't-do city, okay? Doesn't matter what you bring up. It's like, we can't do it. No, there's no chance. Atlanta is a can-do city. And all you have to do is, as mayor, is don't mess it up and don't gum up the works and don't get in the way and don't use taxpayer money to pay for your husband to go to a Super Bowl.
Right.
That's it. Mayor Dickens is going to walk away going like, it really wasn't that hard.
I'll say this about Dickens. As far as I know, he's going to be able to leave and not go to jail.
Right. You realize the progress there? All you have, you can be regularly corrupt like every other politician. Just don't be in my face with it. Again, we put up with dumb government. We don't put up with corrupt government.
Yeah.
Don't rub it in. I'm right there with you.
Rub it in. And that's the thing about Keisha Lance Bottoms. She wants to be such an elitist. She gets to go to the Super Bowl. And I guarantee you they were in a suite or some type of thing. And you can't do that. And that's where Rick Jackson's ad is so powerful and will be powerful.
Oh, man. As soon as I saw that ad, I went, oh. And I thought to myself, yeah, it's a small thing. And then it was, oh, no. You're pulling at the nerves of people. Like you're touching that nerve that gets people upset.
Look at the base of the Atlanta Falcons fan base. Rick Jackson's going to have a line there, without a doubt.
All right, when we get back, this is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. John Ossoff made an appearance in the national news and the national comedic front on HBO, and somebody was speaking a lot of truth about him. We'll talk about that next week. Continue the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Your yard, it stresses you out. Between the watering, the seeding, the weeding, and mowing. And no matter what you do, you're never satisfied. Have you thought about artificial turf? It's low maintenance, it's pet friendly, and it looks amazing all year round. Those in the know use ATL Turf Go. ATL Turf Go is Atlanta's top choice for artificial grass installation. Let them build you a backyard of your dreams with a custom golf or putting green, outdoor kitchen or pool deck. They even specialize in custom concrete and stonework. They handle everything from design and grading to construction and drainage solutions. So whether it's residential lawns or recreational sports fields, ATL Turf Go can build you a stress-free space you'll love. So say goodbye to mowing, maintenance, and your wasted weekends. Learn more and schedule your free in-home consultation today. Call ATL Turf Go, 678-403-2339. That's 678-403-2339. Or visit atlturfco.com.
It's the unsung hero of your home, your garage door. You never think about it. You just hit the button and it opens until it doesn't. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. So you're ready for a new garage door. At All Four Seasons, we offer fast service, affordable prices, and a huge selection of styles, colors, and custom features. Improve your curb appeal, lower your energy bill, secure your home, and increase your property value. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.com.
The walk-off home run, the buzzer beater, the photo finish. That feeling when everything lines up and you get what you need just when you need it. It feels unbelievable in sports, but when it comes to your finances, it makes you feel unstoppable. Visit Truist.com today to see how having the tools you need and a great team by your side can help you take your game to the next level. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
I'm so sick of all these cheesy lawyer billboards. You might be too. If you're injured in a car crash, you don't hire a lawyer because they're sweet or strong or the biggest. You hire a lawyer who is recognized by their peers as one of the top lawyers in the state. You hire a lawyer who's going to listen to you, fight for you, and has the case results to prove it. That lawyer is me, Bruce Hagan, the people's lawyer. I've been proudly selected by my fellow lawyers as one of the top 100 lawyers in the state for 21 consecutive years as Georgia's super lawyer. Hagan-law.com, Hagan-law.com.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now through August 31st at Marietta Toyota. Commuting every day? Well, the 2026 Toyota Camry is now all hybrid with up to, get this, 53 miles per gallon city driving, an easy way to cut fuel stops without giving up comfort. And right now, Camry is the smart move for drivers who want Toyota reliability, everyday comfort, and better fuel efficiency for the road ahead. Every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty, limited time, and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. We'll vote Best of Cobb for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, Best Service Center. For well-qualified buyers, Special financing is available on a new 2026 Camry Hybrid as low as 4.99% APR, 48 months, now through August 31st. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium, Marietta Toyota. Since 1975, we've been here and we'll be here for you.
4.99% APR for 48 months with approved credit through SCTF. Not all buyers qualify. Offer ends 8/31/26. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, and title and include $699 doc fee and $257 electronic tag fee.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, August 24th, and here are your headlines. Former NBA player Enes Kanter Freedom says he was kicked out of a WNBA game after a heated confrontation with Chicago Sky guard Natasha Cloud. Freedom claims Cloud cursed at him and made vulgar remarks after he celebrated a three-pointer made by Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham. Security eventually escorted Freedom out of the arena. A new hospital is planned for Atlanta's South Side as Morehouse School of Medicine and Atrium Health are investing more than $700 million into the project on Metropolitan Parkway, with the city expected to contribute more than $115 million. The hospital is expected to open with 50 beds and eventually expand to more than 700. And finally, North Point Mall could soon be getting a massive makeover. The Alpharetta City Council is voted over the weekend on a proposal to transform the 100-acre property into a mixed-use district anchored by a 20,000-seat arena with a potential return for an NHL team. The plan also calls for over 1,300 apartments, 650 hotel rooms, and more than 1.3 million square feet of office, retail, and restaurant space. It'll be nothing but sunshine across Atlanta today with a high of 91 and a low of 66. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. Tug and Los taking you until 10 o'clock, but no Tug today. Got Victor, who's hanging out with us as we are doing our thing until 10 o'clock. And so it's one of those stories that on a Monday, like we're trying to get everybody warmed up, ready to go. Victor and I came out firing.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. So hopefully, as you're just now getting in the car, you're driving over to work, maybe you're dropping the kids off at Carline, Victor promises that this is the hour where he will not curse or say anything that's going to be awkward around your kids.
It's how I roll.
That's right, because normally, I don't know if you've ever checked out, you go to the podcast park, you listen to any of his other programs, it's like, whoa. You got Johnny on the spot. Bryce is ready with the beeps.
With the beeps.
Cursing like a sailor.
Oh, my God. I was like, I think he just got off the ship.
They got a dump button that gets used.
That's right.
now.
I mean, this is a man who on Friday was explaining the meaning of cojones to everybody. I was like, okay. You think we get away with it just because you use a little Spanish lingo on it? I'm going to teach you all the Spanish curse words.
How much can I get away with the Spanish language?
As long as I do it in Spanish, no one will know any better.
No one will know.
Yeah, somebody's going to be driving around going like, did he really, was that? Oh, wow. Okay.
I have a listener that owns a roofing company, and he plays, he does 106 now for all of his work sites.
Awesome.
They're blasting 106. So they're listening now, and they listen all the time. And so I do make comments a lot in Spanish just for his work crew.
Just for the crew to be like, just the knowing nod of yeah. All right. I'm with you. I tell you what, it's especially when we get a chance to hear from a lot of people. I think some of the ones that I really enjoy hearing from, first off, our truck drivers, the truckers, y'all make the whole world go round. Y'all make all this country work. And then all of the people that listen to us, especially who start off with at 6 in the morning, headed to the job site, just want to get the information on what's going on in this world. Appreciate y'all too.
Definitely.
And all the retirees, we're going to have a beer one of these days. Every now and then, Tug and I will get out somewhere and somebody will come by to be like, heard y'all, we're going to hang out here. Just wanted to have a drink with you guys. Like, awesome.
That's awesome.
It's like, what do you do? And typically it's like, I work here, I own my own company, or I retired several years ago. And even those who point out, hey, I retired several years ago, they're often the most invested because of their children, their grandchildren, and everyone else that they're trying to make sure that this country is kept intact for. All right, wanted to bring this up because this was from... We always come in with real time with Bill Maher on a Monday because typically there's a lot of stuff that goes on his Friday show, and I think it's pretty interesting. He had Dana Bash, the name we use on this show for her, because sometimes she's Dana and sometimes she's Dana. Just kind of depends on who you are. So she was one of the primary guests sitting on the table, and I thought this was a really compelling point that I've been talking about for several months. And now Bill Maher has caught on to it. when we talk about Jon Ossoff, Victor, if I was to tell you that, all right, a formidable opponent on the Democrat side happens to be from, we'll just call it a purple state, who is, in this case, a Democrat, looks to be somebody that's going to be difficult to beat in an election. And when it comes to the messaging and the way that they put themselves out there, it comes across as formidable. And I'd also point out that when it comes to how they conduct themselves, you would say, all right, at a podium, it's pretty good. I would say that's all going to be very difficult to take down. I would also say the same thing of Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. And the reason why Josh Shapiro was not selected as vice president is because he's Jewish.
He's Jewish.
And within that party,
it's the cardinal sin for Democrats right now.
Exactly. And Jon Ossoff, apparently they did a really good job of hiding it from the rest of the Democrat Party. They're all just finding out he's Jewish. They didn't know.
That's so true. It's so true.
And I bring this up and because we haven't, it's the third show we've got to do together. So I grew up in an area of San Antonio where we had 3 synagogues all around my neighborhood. I thought everyone went to school with a large amount of Jewish kids. It was when I went off to college, I went to a private Methodist university. I remember asking like second week of school, I'm like, hey man, where are all the Jewish guys around here? And they're like, dude, you're at a private Methodist university. But that's how I grew up. It was nothing to go to bar and bat mitzvahs.
Right.
Went to like 15 of them. I can name off all of my Jewish friends. I've got a friend of mine, Jeremy Spiegel. His dad was actually a rabbi. They kept kosher in their home. Now, that was like the only one where they had the 2 separate dishwashers. And so for me, I've never looked at it as, being Jewish, you are the devil. Where's your tail and your horns? But that's what the Democrats have turned it into now.
Yeah.
So here is Bill Maher talking about the future prospects of Jon Ossoff. And hear how quickly Bill Maher, who is Jewish, although atheist, he is Jewish, listen to how quickly he points out the obvious to the rest of the Democrat panel.
So what do you think of this new star, Jon Ossoff, I mentioned in the monologue? I mean, we've mentioned him before. He's been there for a couple of years in Georgia. He's kind of Obama-esque when he speaks, and he really lit into Trump in a way that people seem to be, certainly on the left, thirsting for. The problem is he's Jewish. I know we don't want to talk about that, but we need to talk about that because that is the situation in the Democratic Party. They think Gaza is a genocide. It is not. There's an actual meaning into the word genocide. It doesn't come close. But as long as you tag that name, genocide, of course, what kind of normal person would not hate someone who's responsible for a genocide? And they've all just signed on to this because they're just big on buzzwords and lawn signs and bumper stickers. That's as deep as they go.
And likes on their social media.
And likes. So you have to say it. There was a Congressman Scott Wiener. He's, I think, going to take Nancy Pelosi's seat in San Francisco. And he wasn't saying genocide. And they surrounded him, a mob, and yelled at him and said, "You're not gay." He's gay. They're not really gay unless you... What the does that have to do with genocide? Right. Say it, and he did, because the Democrats are cowards. What a coward.
This is factual. Do you know the only country in the Middle East that has gay rights?
Of course. Israel. Yeah. Yes, that's why the people with the Queers for Palestine T-shirts are so out of their mind.
All right, so that's the comedy end when it comes to Bill Maher. He's pointing out there is a gay man in San Francisco that when he won't say that Israel has committed a genocide, they deny the fact that he's even gay. The mob comes after him.
And the mob will come.
To attack him. If you think that Jon Ossoff has any future outside of where he's at right now within this Democrat Party, you're sorely mistaken.
Even though, I promise, I've said this, when Ossoff came on the scene, I told my listeners, this guy must spend hours in front of the mirror to perfect the Obama dialect, because you can just tell this guy wants to sound like Obama. He wants to be the white Jewish Obama, I guess. But you're not wrong about Josh Shapiro. You know, the Democrats would have fared better if Josh Shapiro had been leading that ticket in 2024.
Possibility. Remember, the night ended Now, it ended early for Kamala Harris, but the night ended when Pennsylvania went for Donald Trump. I can only believe that at least the competition would have gone further into the night had Pennsylvania voted with Josh Shapiro, who's a person who's actually, when it comes to popularity numbers, he's like, obviously great with Democrats. He's neutral with Republicans because he kind of basically runs the state as a purple state.
He can sound pretty moderate if there is such a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still look at some of the votes that he goes along with, but for the most part, he does run Pennsylvania as a purple state. There's no doubt about it, and he can be labeled a moderate, and they crucified him because he was Jewish. And I said this on my show too, Los, when the squad and the new socialists that are coming up,
the DSA
when
members.
they find out Ossoff is actually Jewish and won't denounce it, hey, he's toast. This is going to be easy pickings for Collins.
Now, there's another area. I think it's easy to forget because John Ossoff has basically been sitting there for his 6 years. John Ossoff lost the initial election by 3%. But in this state, it's 50+1. And so David Perdue, who didn't get there, who was at 49%, and had handily beaten Ossoff. That was another one of the weird things. So they only voted for Joe Biden here, but they didn't vote for Ossoff? Huh, that seems really strange.
Yeah.
Weird how that worked. The ballots were marked for... Okay, you've got me off track. Yes, they were marked for Biden. Didn't even were marked for Ossoff. He lost by 3%.
Yeah.
But because you didn't have the 50+1, here's what then goes on. You have the runoff election. And yes, there's going to be less people taking part in it. Perdue lost 200,000 votes from the previous total. Ossoff only lost 90,000 and won by the slimmest of margins. It was like 0.7%. So you're telling me that this is not, when it comes to him being vulnerable, that this is not the most vulnerable Democrat in the Senate in the entirety of the country? All right, we'll see. And yes, there is money coming in for him, but I think as it gets to be known, because I don't think the regular Democrat out there, the Mark Ruffalos of the world, know that he's Jewish.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Because Ossoff has flown under the radar. He's done pretty much nothing except come out every now and then and try to sound like Obama. When the National Party and these national figures find out, and here's something that, and I don't want you people to hear me wrong. I don't want to make his religion or anything bad or make it against him.
I'm just pointing out it matters to them.
Exactly. It matters to them. We're not the ones that have a problem with it. But for Collins' teams or a super PAC to point this out for the Democrats, I don't have a problem with it because they're the ones that, like you said, have a problem with his religion.
We had the audio from MS Now, and this was now maybe 3 months ago, where they actually brought him up in a panel discussion, and someone said he doesn't present as Jewish. I'm like, hold on a second. What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
So you looked at him and you didn't clearly say, member of the tribe. What does it? He doesn't present as Jewish exactly mean? I think that's pretty ridiculous. But let's go further with what Bill Maher did. As Bill Maher, he made the point on Friday, he pointed out Ossoff, and then he just decided, because this is the one area where I think Bill Maher gets pretty heated, is that he looks at Israel as having a right to defend itself. While he's not a religious guy, he does realize the geopolitics of the area, the history of the area, and he sides with the Israelis. Well, this is where he then continued to now point out, here's another fault of the Democrat Party.
And James Tallarico is
a young Democrat,
Christian, and so forth. But I will add he wears his faith on his sleeve in a way that he believes will help him.
Well, in the Democratic Party, as long as that faith isn't Jewish, you're good.
Which, you said it, but
I said it because it's true.
Dana Bash is trying to run from it. What do I say? And as he pointed out, I said it because it's true.
Because it's true.
It does matter to their side because they have built up. The resistance movement was the first thing in 2016. It's it's a resistance movement. And then they had, we've got some energy from BLM as they got into 2019 and 2020. And the reason why I always said that BLM was a bunch of BS, I read their website. one of the big issues they had in there was a belief that Israel should not exist and that it did not have a right to exist. Well, every subsequent faction of these offshoots of socialism and communism all believe that the primary ally to the United States in the Middle East should not exist.
Should not exist. Yeah.
And so why do they, like, genocide or anything? All the angles, every single one of them starts off with, well, we can't possibly endorse anything Jewish on their side ever.
It's
at all.
It is, and I laugh because it's just, you just can't make this stuff up. But look at the college campuses, how quickly they were blocking Jewish students from going. Can you imagine if some so-called conservative group or Republican group blocked a black student from going anywhere?
I tell you what, pray in front of an abortion clinic.
Oh, you'll get arrested.
Yeah, you're gonna spend time.
Under the Biden administration, that you were arrested.
You're gonna spend time. Not that I'm keeping you from campus, not that I am trying to physically keep you from going to school. If I was just to stand somewhere and pray, then under the Biden administration, they were calling that a level of obstruction.
That was hate speech.
Yes. It's like, who gets to determine who's doing the hate speech in this place?
Yeah.
I know there's a tit for tat aspect of that, but it always comes back to the same thing. The Democrats have an issue, and I believe that we're going to see. Now, I thought we were going to see this more so in 2024. The numbers continue to move our direction. The Hispanic vote, the black vote continues to move to a more Republican-oriented area. But the Jewish vote has been the one that's been slow to have that happen. I think the examples of what you're seeing with what the Democrats are talking about, I think the examples of, especially with the Jewish and Italian Americans that are in New York City, I think that's another big one there, too.
I was just about to say, look at New York City. You have Mandami, who basically campaigned on hating Israel to a degree. I mean, the guy has before he scrubbed his social media, you could see a lot of stuff that he says, but he's a Hamas guy. He will not come out and say anything negative about Hamas, a terrorist group. But yet, Jewish people in New York City elected that man.
You said something on Friday, and I think it is definitely worth reiterating, how the left consistently wants to put people into groups, and this is how you're supposed to use this, your group thing. Yeah, victim boxes. Well, I'm just pointing out that when you do create those victim boxes, and then you also then attack those people, they should, as groups, make it a point not to vote for you.
And eventually they'll do that.
I'm just looking at it as, hey, you're Americans. Let's find the right situation that helps every single one of us. The Democrats are busy going, well, listen, we can't possibly run the Jewish candidate because Michigan will definitely lose it.
Think about it. We have a political party in this country that has a Hamas or a how do I put it? A Hamas faction in their party.
That
they want.
It's like a cousin. It's like Hamas adjacent. It's like we're not bombing anything, but we do agree with them. All right, that's Victor Amlos coming up on the Morning Extra as we continue on this Monday.
I love my cousin.
Yeah, I do. I know you love your cousin. You love all your cousins, and all the cousins listen. So appreciate all the Tug cousins checking out. If you're going to run for Senate, you might be able to answer. You might need to be able to answer some simple questions. Just pointing that out. Talk about that next right here on the Morning Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, August 24th. The Atlanta Braves got a win to close out the weekend in the Little League Classic, beating the Milwaukee Brewers last night 4-2 the final. Tyler Mahle ends up throwing 5 innings of just 1-run ball. Michael Harris II hit his 21st homer of the season. As for the Braves, they are off today before opening up another big series at Truist Park starting tomorrow night as the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers will be in town. More chaos in college football as the court ruling will allow Daquan Wright to join the LSU football team. Wright has been in camp with the Cleveland Browns but will be waived. He is the first player who will return to college football after signing with an NFL team, and for now will get his 5th year of eligibility. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. At Jim Ellis Chevrolet, buying your next vehicle can be as simple, convenient, and personal as you want it to be. With the Jim Ellis Expressway, you can start or complete your entire purchase online right from home.
Shop at your own pace, on your own time, with no pressure. Prefer to handle things independently? You can. Want guidance along the way? A knowledgeable Jim Ellis Chevrolet sales professional is ready to help whenever you need it.
Value your trade, explore payment options, complete your purchase online, and even have your new vehicle delivered to your home.
Buying online may be convenient, but having the right dealership behind you matters. Jim Ellis Chevrolet is a local, family-owned dealership built on trust, transparency, and long-term relationships.
Unlike some national auto dealers, Jim Ellis Chevrolet takes care of you before the sale, during the purchase, and long after you drive home.
Convenience makes buying easier. Trust makes owning easier. Visit JimEllisChevrolet.com.
Or stop by the dealership on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter. Jim Ellis Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
When I first started using a CPAP, getting supplies and equipment was a horrible hassle. It pretty much stayed that way until I discovered CPAPs, etc.com. Same-day shipping on anything you might need, including travel CPAPs, hoses, masks, you name it. Same-day shipping. CPAPsETC.com or visit their store in Alpharetta. So easy, and you could be preserving your health and saving your life.
Braves fans, mark your calendars as the Dodgers and Rockies come to town August 25th through the 30th. Fans can look forward to the Harry Potter and HBCU specialty ticket packages during the week. Both include a game ticket and a specialty bobblehead.
And that's crushed to deep right. Knocked out by Olsen.
Then make sure to arrive early on Saturday for Hunting and Fishing Night, presented by the Georgia Department of Natural Resources and Realtree. Enjoy a variety of interactive exhibits, including live reptiles, a massive aquarium display, inflatable archery, hunting license sales, and more fun for the whole family. Plus, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Chipper Jones Realtree APX Camo replica jersey. The week wraps up on Sunday as the first 3,000 kids through the gates will score the Kids City Connect Sliding Mick giveaway. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out the fun and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra. Tug and Los. No Tug. He'll be back tomorrow. So it's myself and Victor, and we're taking you until 10 o'clock. Maybe. You're right.
Maybe.
He's been at the beach. He's probably...
That's awesome.
You know, I think it's the sad part is when you wake up the last morning and you have to slowly pack everything up, knowing that you're driving back to civilization after spending good 4 or 5 days down there.
Beach. Oh.
Yeah. It's... I don't know, replenishes the soul. At the same time, you're like, when do I get to come down here again?
What if he comes back different?
What? Like,
you mean
like trans?
Maybe.
Like, what kind of different?
I don't know. Just
he discovered himself.
Maybe instead of looking at everything's going to be, terrible and it goes right, maybe everything's going to go well.
He's probably going to be a few shades of red.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if Tug actually tans or does he just bake?
That's a great question.
Like my wife goes from regular to lobster, and then the lobster settles down, and now that's the tan. And so every single evening, she'll be like, oh my God, like, are you burned? You're like, no. And she's just red. But then that's how she works. Whereas my kids turn into like bronze statues, which, and so my wife's always like, oh, y'all are so lucky. Because we'll be, over at whatever restaurant after a night out or a day out at the beach and then an evening out. And we're all like, yeah, we look good. My wife's just sitting there looking like just like some burned up lobster.
A red beet.
Just like red beet, just over there like, wow, I feel really hot on my face.
I feel like with how much he likes the equator, he almost can't burn.
I don't know.
Listen, some people are attracted to things that'll kill them.
That'll hurt them.
That's right.
Them.
Like Victor and I with heroin. We're like, oh, I can't keep it away from me. No, I'm kidding. We are drug-free on this show. Wink.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's the way we live. Clean living. How do you think Victor and I made it here?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Clean living.
Clean living.
Mostly. Those vodka Sprites yesterday.
I will propel myself at high rates of speed. I haven't been able to stop doing that. That's my drug.
Okay. See, and for me, all right, I've like made driving fast while watching HBO Max like its own competition on 400.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know.
The
It's
Autobahn
bad.
400.
How else was I going to catch up with Game of Thrones? And then, most of the time when I'm watching any of the shows, it's when I'm in car line waiting to pick up my little one, and especially when it comes to the middle school. So they open up like 4:15, but if you're not in car line by 3 o'clock, 3:15, you're way in the back.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to take at least till probably like 4:30, 4:35 to pick them up. So I just get there early and just start watching shows.
Yeah.
That's just how I get caught up on
nothing
everything
wrong
at
with
this
that.
point. But I don't drive fast anymore on 400 while watching shows on my phone anymore. I promise.
You haven't done it in a couple
He's not advocating that, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm saying that I learned the error of my ways. I
Yes.
don't do such things anymore like that. You just never know.
He's 3 hours sober.
That's right. Exactly. I haven't done it in 8 hours. It's been a while. All right, let's jump into this, Victor, because when you are running for the Senate, now I get it. When Lindsey Graham passed on and his sister basically inherited the Senate seat, it was told to us, and I firmly went with it, that hey, she's going to just be sitting in there. This is regular. This happens. Sometimes that seat passes to a family member temporarily, and then there's going to be an election in the fall. And that's exactly what is happening. And as I pointed out on social media, if it comes down to the fact that Darlene Graham is the best person for it, well, then the people of South Carolina will vote for her. If she's not, they won't.
Right. And that's the way it should be, honestly. I don't, my instinct here is I don't like dynasties. So I don't like just because your dad or your brother or your this or your that was elected that you're just assume you should be anointed. But I don't have a problem with the tradition, which is kind of what it's like, of her, when he passed, you tap her to finish out. Because it's more symbolic than anything.
It's happened like 12 times in the past century. It happens all the time.
And she might have maybe one vote or something between now and election. And let's be honest, she's going to do what the Republican Party tells her to do, which is fine. Again, I'm totally fine with this. But when it comes to a new election for a 6-year term, she's got to earn it. And that response she gave in the debate, to me, is it's quite disqualifying. So it's going to be interesting what the people do there.
I know you have the audio racked up. I just know that there is we talk about this audience being the 1%, and we talk about being plugged in and paying attention to this stuff. And in a debate, I don't believe that you have to be. Now, if you've got like expertise on a number of certain levels, fine. But you need to have at least cursory level of understanding of some of the issues out there. Because remember, when you're asked a question, it's about the seat for the next 6 years, just as you pointed out. So here was when Darlene Graham was asked about the possibility of Chinese aggression.
Senator, are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States? If so, why?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States, and if so, why or how?
I'm just going to be honest here. I'm not on national security. I'm not that informed on national security, so. But I do support the military. My brother was in the Air Force for 33 years, so I will do everything I can to support the military. My dad was in the Army.
All right, that's great. That's all we really need there. Now, I'll do this for you because you're not prepared for this. Victor, do we consider that in the South China Sea, Taiwan to be important to national security?
Well, yes, Mr. Moderator. Why? No, but, absolutely. Because when you look at the world stage and what Taiwan means with even just the fact that we get a lot of semiconductors from there, but the fact that those people want to live the way they want to live with a little bit of freedom, then China, the communist nation, who's making aggressions everywhere. This isn't something new. China's not our friend. I've talked about this before. They are invading in, finding out, doing whatever they can to get in our cellular systems and things like that. So,
by the way, you've already answered far more than what Darlene Graham had. That's all that needs to be said. Yeah. I mean, I would reference, hey, we've had an agreement since the 1970s to protect Taiwan in the interest of making sure it remains a free country. And considering the economic resources and our relationship with them, any Chinese aggression is a threat to national security. Simple.
Hey, simple. She could have just said yes, and that would have been better than what she did.
Right. Well, I'm not really familiar with all these issues. Huh? What?
Yeah. No.
Hold on a second. But this is why, as we pointed out at the time, you're a placeholder for the seat. You will vote according to what the Republican Party tells you to, and based on how everything goes, you will have an opportunity to try and win an election in that state, which if a better candidate exists, and we'll see, it's starting to look that way.
Yeah.
Then at that point, all right, you move on and you are the placeholder. That's it. That's how this is supposed to work. Yeah. All right, when we get back, we will start the 8 o'clock hour of the Morning Extra. The DSA, they're planning to do what every communist organization does. Get violent. Talk about that next.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
So here's your not-so-little secret about the Democrat socialists, a.k.a. communists out there running for office. That truth is, these people thrive on the abject stupidity and ignorance of the American voters. Look at what they're promising everybody. Free childcare, free paid family leave, free sick leave. And of course, there is no such thing as a free lunch. So who pays for it? We're going to tax the millionaires so that they pay their fair share. So here are some actual statistics about the top 1% of taxpayers. That would include the millionaires and the billionaires. And you will never get this from the media. Let's look at that top 1%. They earn 22.4% of all adjusted gross income, but they pay 40.4% of all total income taxes. Take a look at the bottom 50%. Those are Democrat voters. They earn 11.5% of all the total income, but they only pay 3% of the total income taxes. Who is not paying their fair share? By the way, if you want tax rates instead of comparisons of actual taxes paid, the bottom 50% of taxpayers pay an average tax rate of 3.7%. The top 1% pay a tax rate of 26.1%. The actual numbers do not support this, the rich need to pay their fair share BS. That's why you never hear it from the media. They're for the Democrats, you know. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Tom, the honest car guy, and I'm here with Ron. And I'll let Ron tell you a little bit about his experience with us, and not only that, but the differences between a new car dealership and the honest car guy, because there is a difference, with no doc fees and no addendums. It's kind of straightforward. They get to see what we pay for the car, and that's not something you get at a dealership.
Usually we're back and forth, and then you get like 1,400 pages of paper. And in this case, we did it all online. I mean, it was like, okay, I don't mind doing paperwork once I know that this is the deal.
and you got to see the financing, the numbers
to
up
see all
front
of it.
before you even bought it. You can make that call, and within hours, we can find you the car you want from your home. I mean, I had a customer call me up and say, hey, I bought a car in my pajamas.
If I'd have had some, I'd have been wearing them.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Economy, Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. The Trump administration set to announce what is being described as economic D-Day on Iran, unveiling a package of measures to isolate Tehran from the rest of the world. Fox's Marianne Rafferty.
The U.S. Treasury is expected to detail what's being called the toughest sanctions in history Monday. In response, Iran is vowing to neutralize the economic war with the U.S. It's also threatening to halt oil flow out of the Strait of Hormuz if any neighboring countries join the effort. This, as a new report shows, traffic through the vital waterway is up nearly 400%, but still just 20% of pre-war levels. There are also signs of growing division within the Iranian leadership. Iran's president is defending an interim agreement reached with the U.S. in June, saying Tehran cannot continue with war forever.
Now, Pakistan's army chief is set to visit Iran today in an effort to get the peace talks going again. And the U.S.-Canada trade dispute escalating with no new talks planned and both sides digging in. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer says the Trump administration is preparing countermeasures to Canada's tariff retaliation, arguing Ottawa rejected offers to ease duties on steel, autos, and lumber. Fox's Alex Hogan.
Negotiations with Canada fell through. The U.S. will impose 50% tariffs on $20 billion worth of Canadian products. Now, Canada imposing retaliatory tariffs, promising to match them dollar for dollar. And this was what President Trump said when he reacted, writing on Truth Social. Canada wants the benefits of being a state without being one. They also have charged our great farmers for many years massive amounts of tariffs. No more.
And President Trump's political poll facing a big test in the Palmetto State tomorrow. South Carolina voters are going to choose between Trump-backed Darlene Graham and Ralph Norman in a runoff election to fill the late Senator Lindsey Graham's Senate seat. America is listening to Fox News.
Everyone walks through seasons of uncertainty, but you don't have to walk through them alone. At intouch.org, you'll find messages of hope, biblical truth, and encouragement from Dr. Charles Stanley, available anytime you need it. Dive into devotionals, watch sermons, or explore resources that help you draw closer to God day by day. When you're ready to refocus your heart and renew your faith, visit intouch.org. It may be exactly what your soul needs today.
Shh, here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Business with other like-minded conservatives by advertising on Extra 1063. Email sales at xtra1063.com.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. Regularly Tug and Los, but not today. It's Victor and Los. We're taking you until 10 o'clock. You can hang with us. You can check us out over on our YouTube channel, Extra 1063. Hello to the extras out there. We'll throw up that X there for you. And if you want to take part in the chat at any point, just put it over in that chat box, or you can reach out to us on our regular social media feeds. You can always hit me at Front Office Los or at the Bryce Gobert Monster Rar.com. You can always reach him there. That's just the best way. Or by phone, maybe easier, 404-741-1230 if you'd like to add to the discussion. The 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air. Sign up for the maintenance package. We're getting near the end of summer. It's still warm out there, although a little cooler this morning, but still in the 90s today. And then we're going to be getting into that fall. Make sure both of your systems are working correctly. So we're getting that time of year, Victor, where it's, oh, I need the cooling today, then I need the heat.
And then I need the heat.
And I just keep flipping back and forth with my system, making sure that hopefully both work. And for years, I've been a subscriber to the maintenance agreement with Central Heating and Air. Actually had a this has now been like a decade. We had a party for the Georgia-Florida football game, and our main level AC unit went out that morning, and I'm like in a scramble. And so I like reach out to Central Heating and Air. And again, they always tell you, like, if you're part of the maintenance package, it's not one of those things where they say, oh yeah, we'll see you next week.
Right.
In this case, they were like, hey, we got a tech in the area if you want to come and check it out. I was like in a few hours? Like, yeah, sure enough. Ended up getting a unit, needed some help, got the unit going, cranked up, party saved. Thank you, Central Heating and Air. So that's always the privilege of having that with them. All right, let's get to our first thing to know today.
He tuned in to the morning show and said, give me the truth today. She poured her coffee, grabbed her phone, whispered, Lord, light up the way. They could hear the leftists talking. He said, this is my daily fight. If they take me to the office, they won't take my common sense alive. There was the morning.
Oh, yeah, the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. So we always talk, we love talking about history on this radio program. And we'll do like story times and some deep dives into stuff. But one of the particular aspects of history, no matter when it's occurred, no matter where it's been in the world, whenever there is a communist revolution, there's always violence. It's just what occurs. It's one of the earmarks of it. It's part of it, the destabilization of a society and eventually the communists moving in. And whether that's, like, for instance, Cuba. Cuba had a long history of revolution and civil war before finally it was, okay, we think we've got this thing settled. And it turns out they were communists. All right? Like, that's how that played out. North Korea, you have the same deal. Vietnam, you have the same deal. East Germany, you have the same deal. It's always the level of violence picks up before society breaks, and now the communists are in charge. And by the way, the other part of that is then they rule with an iron fist. So if Victor happens to look at somebody funny or spit gum in the wrong place or whatever.
Or wear the wrong shirt to a basketball game.
You are going to prison.
Yeah.
You are in the gulag, and we're going to fix your little red wagon. We're going to make sure you figure it out.
We will re-educate you.
Absolutely. Happens every time.
Yeah.
So I don't get why they do this, Victor, before we play the audio. I have talked about it. You've talked about it. When you are on the cusp of trying to push Marxism, what you don't tell people is that you're planning to push Marxism, right? I mean, you brought it up on Friday. You're like, what happened to the politicians who feel this way, but yet hide it?
Yeah, they hide
it. The DSA isn't hiding it.
No, because these young whippersnappers have been told from when their indoctrination started, probably in elementary school, high school, and into college, they were told how great communism is, how great socialism is. If we just have it, we need you whippersnappers to do it right because it hasn't been done right. What they weren't told, well, you're supposed to hide it. You got to get elected first. Then you bring on the pain. And now they just want to tell everybody what they're doing, and they want to bring the pain because pain is what it will be.
And for me, what jumps out is a historical perspective of when you have a communist revolution, what occurs is society typically says no. And so what does the communist respond with? The communist doesn't respond with, well, we got to be better at the ballot box.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's discuss it further, huh? Maybe you should get on campus with me and let's have a discussion. Yeah. And this is also, I was thinking about this when I was leaving the driveway this morning. One of the reasons why you will not have many of these DSA members will go on national television, I think, for the foreseeable future. It's because anytime they enter into a discussion in the arena of ideas, they come across looking foolish.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, I think the far left has a real problem with this because so many of their ideas are idealistic without any history of them ever working.
Mm-hmm.
So when that's brought up to them, it's, and now that's the end of the discussion, right? Well, in this case, this is the audio now. This is a multitude of DSA members, and for some reason, they feel comfortable streaming their meetings. We're just going to put them out there. We're going to throw out our ideas. Hold on a second. I told you to keep it under wraps, right?
Well, the old guard is
would.
telling them. Well, see, here's the two real quick before we get to the soundbite. You're old Democrats, and you've got to understand, you people who are still sick of us to the Democrat Party, you've got to understand this. Your Democrat Party old school are not pushing back the socialists. They're not saying, no, we do love our country. We don't want this socialism. No, they're not doing that. They're telling them, you need to hide this, tone it down, hide it, and get elected first.
What I find to be an issue that's going on with all of this, and I call it the civil war within the Democrats, there are people that listen to this program that still look at it and say, the Democrats are for the working class. And what it is they are basically, when it comes to lifestyle, they're just a little bit more liberal than the conservatives would ever consider being. And that's who we are. This modern Democrat hates you because they look at you as you aren't down for the struggle. You're not willing to get violent. You're not willing to pick up that gun and go make this thing happen in the best interests of society and tearing down the imperialism of America and the stain of slavery. All of that.
There it is. Tear down what the white man built. But listen, Los, you if you recall, because I'm sure you guys talked about this, the hard far left, these people that are getting elected now, winning primaries, they said not too long ago that you old guard Democrats, you're not going far enough because you're not willing to commit the violence yourself.
Right. So here is now, this is from one of their meetings that they do stream. I don't understand why, other than I guess they feel that somehow if they do this enough, this will become some sort of mainstream thinking within the Democrat Party. But I want you to take a listen for what they say is going to occur once this revolution continues to move forward.
We have seen that the Democratic Party establishment that we have has to be ripped out. We can actually start to grab hold of the ship of state and steer it in our direction, but it's going to be a violent process.
Our country needs to change, and this Democratic Party needs to change. I was more than glad to go on Hassan's stream. This is we need as Democrats, we need to go into these spaces.
Israel has a plan of creating a greater Israel in the Middle East.
And Eretz Israel would require Israel to expand, quintuple its size by eating up half of Lebanon, parts of Iraq, parts of Egypt, most of Jordan, parts of Iran.
It's not an accident that the same people that will take the AIPAC money take all the other money too. Where they're messaging each other like, oh, there's a war over here. Won't that be profitable for us? What if we started some instability over there?
AIPAC doesn't care about democracy. AIPAC cares about what AIPAC cares about, which is the corporate interests, the billionaire class, and perpetuating this U.S. colony in the Middle East that is only able to exist with our taxpayer support.
All right, so let's go through the laundry list, the checklist. 1, it's going to be violent. And, we got to wrestle away power. It's going to be violent. What do you mean it's going to be violent? That's not how a transfer of power is supposed to happen in this country, right? I remember y'all freaked out over January 6th, right?
They sure did.
No, it's going to be violent.
Democracy is dead.
Yeah, it's going to be violent. You'll see. And then, of course, it naturally, and every single time, moves its way over into Israel doesn't have a right to exist.
Oh, it always comes down to Israel and the Jewish people.
Every time. That's why, again, Ossoff has no chance nationally. Nationally, because of who these people are and the direction that party is going. But what I would ask any of my Democrat brothers and sisters out there, do these people speak for you? Is this the direction you want? Because they are wrapping themselves in your flag and telling you, get out of the way, old man. This is the direction we're going.
I have a great example of this, what you just hit on. Not 2 months ago, I was at an event and I met just a really, really nice lady. She's probably in her 30s, maybe late 30s. Smart lady, nice. I looked at her and asked her, because she started talking about Democrats, just some of the typical things you hear, like the working class and this and that. And I asked her, I said, well, how do you feel about, and I just went off the list about what the Democrats are saying about Jewish people, about Israel, about the Mr. Nazi in Maine, and all these examples. She knew none of it. None of it. This was a lady who looked at me and thought she was up on everything, giving me old sounding things for Democrat Party.
Yeah, the party she grew up with,
or
what her parents or grandparents were part of.
Yes, and that's what I told her. I said, this isn't the party of your grandparents anymore. And when I recited those things to her, she had no idea. So the problem that the Republicans are up against, which and just people like us, we're fighting a mainstream media that will not tell the truth. And you have, again, the low information voter. It exists.
I would always point out to people that if you want to talk about what taxation is at its heart, it is a low form of tyranny. It is the removal of the wealth or the production that you've created and the payment that you're receiving for
the redistribution.
That's what it turns into. To think that when you had the newest form of taxes that came in with the big, beautiful bill, the Democrats, when they couldn't stop it, and what they decided to do is, instead, we'll attack it at the state level. So that if you're in California, if you're in New York, if you're in Oregon, the whole no tax on tips policy, no, they just jumped up their taxation there to make sure that your tips were taxed to the hilt. And your Social Security. All they did was increase their level of tyranny. And so when you start talking about who are the working class people, those are your servers, your bartenders, the people that grind to make sure that when you're in hospitality, you have a nice time out. Mm-hmm. And they are receiving not a whole lot of money on an hourly. They're working off those tips and what they're able to take care of. And to think that you have people that still believe that the Democrats are the party of the working class, yet they're like, we need to get your tips.
We need your money. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Your Democrat Party of today spends time every day trying to figure out a new tax they can burden you with. And that's the middle class. They're never, ever, ever going to just be the billionaires. My goodness, we love history here. Like you said, Los, if you go back to when this whole withholding mess started years and years and years ago, what did they say? What did the politicians tell you then? Oh, it's only 3% of the population. Oh, it's only those rich folks over there. We're only going to take their money. Well, now look who's getting soaked. Your middle class will always get soaked because there aren't enough millionaires and billionaires.
It's the largest block.
Yeah.
Every single time you have new taxes proposed, and it's going to be pushed to you as, well, we've got to make the millionaires and billionaires, they got to pay their fair share. All right, under our current tax code, which, by the way, isn't changing because it serves the people that fund races. All right, the people that fund races and make sure that politicians get into office, they will never be touched under this current tax code. So even when your good old DSA starts talking about going after them, people with money, it is not difficult to hide money from this particular tax code. For everyone who thinks, Elon Musk is a trillionaire. He doesn't have $1 trillion sitting in a bank.
No.
It is the overall value of his stock options, stuff that you can't touch under this tax code.
And if you remember, Los, which I know you do, and when Donald Trump hit the scene and had his first debate with Hillary, or it might have been the first, maybe his second debate with Hillary Clinton, and this tax issue came up, Donald Trump was the only one who had the cojones to be honest and say, of course I took advantage of the tax loopholes because she created them.
As he said it, because I'm smart.
Yeah,
and everyone who donates to her, that's who also does it as well.
Her donor base will never pay those taxes because she created the loopholes.
This was 2016, and Donald Trump flat out told you the reason why the tax code won't change is because they fund all of this stuff.
All of it.
All of it. And so who is the person that gets soaked in the end? The middle class. Every single time. So whenever you hear, hey, we're proposing taxes, we're going to hit up the millionaires and billionaires. No, it's not. And besides, even if you ever did, even if it ever occurred, then what you're doing is you're going to be hurting the job creation for the middle class.
70% or so of the jobs in this country are created by small business. And I'm sorry, and I don't mean this to be mean, but I never got a job from a poor person.
Ever.
And here's what's going to happen, just like you mentioned, alluded to, Los. You go after if you do target, which they've done. You target look at New York. The millionaires and billionaires will leave. The job creators will leave. The producing people will leave, and then the class that you're soaking, the middle class, you can't get enough money from them. You can't soak them enough. No. And hence you end up with socialism and ridiculous forms of government like that, because you have to use the hammer of the fist to hold those people down.
8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air. Make sure you sign up for that maintenance agreement. Get that maintenance package. That's going to take care of you as we finish off these hot summer months. And then, because remember, they're going to go ahead and come out and check your maintenance, check all your heating and cooling systems. It'll get you ready for the fall as well. Also, do want to remind you, Atlanta, join the Kimmer live from Shuck and Shack. Oyster Bar incoming. That's going to be Wednesday, 3 to 6. That is 415 Peachtree Parkway. Go hang out with the Kimmer and the gang, while enjoying fresh oysters, steamed seafood, hot wings, sandwiches, cold drinks, and more. Locally owned and always a good shuckin' time. It's Shuck and Shack. Oyster Bar.
Jesus, not all about you, honey.
Incoming. Wow.
Okay. Well, Kimmer.
Well, Kimmer just throws it on out there, doesn't he? Just sometimes Kimmer just has to let him know it. I appreciate that. 3 to 6. Kimmer letting him know. All right, when we get back, well, I'll just say this. We're going to miss this particular congresswoman, but on her way out, she is lobbing some bombs, and I'm here for it. Talk about that next. It's Victor and Los in for Tug. This is the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3.
Some things don't go out of style. Faith, family, and plain old common sense. And Xtra 106.3 still believes in that. Listen live or stream us anywhere on the Xtra 106.3 app.
There's never been a better time to fall in love with Subaru from Subaru of Gwinnett. Now through August 31st, get award-winning vehicles and exceptional offers from a brand you trust during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Explore the full lineup of hybrid, electric, gas, and wilderness vehicles, including the trusted 2026 Subaru Forester and the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback. Every Subaru is made with love and built to last, with dependability and value coming standard. It's no surprise why Consumer Reports named Subaru the best overall automotive brand for 2 years in a row, based on reliability, safety, owner satisfaction, and road test evaluations. At Subaru of Gwinnett, there's a lot to discover and a lot to love. Get special low rates on select vehicles from August 1st through August 31st on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, or start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com. Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services. Visit Subaru.com/CR to learn more.
It's August 24th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Waffle Day. The contemporary waffles we love originated in France and Belgium. The first frozen waffles, created by three brothers in San Jose, California, debuted in 1953, selling in supermarkets as Fruffles. On this day in 2020, the Republican convention begins by formally renominating Donald Trump for a second presidential term.
4 more years! Now, if you want to really drive him crazy, you say 12 more years.
Way back in 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius in southern Italy erupts after being silent for centuries, killing thousands and burying the Roman city of Pompeii. The first documented case of a person being reinfected with COVID-19 a second time, a Hong Kong man 4 months after his first infection in 2020. Legendary wide receiver Jerry Rice retires in 2006 from the National Football League. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
It's Fox Wheels.
In 1980, more than a third of vehicles built for the U.S. market had manual transmissions. By 2025, that number had fallen to just 0.6%, with only a couple dozen models still offering stick shifts. As many drivers don't want to shift anymore, automatics are also faster and easier in traffic. Volkswagen has said after this year that it's killing the stick shift for North America. Other companies like Honda and BMW have also scaled back on manuals, though with some auto enthusiasts demanding it. Toyota is one of the companies fighting to keep the stick shift alive with cars like the GR Corolla. About 70% of those vehicles sold last year were manuals. Same for the Mazda Miata, and 90% of Subaru BRZs sold were stick. Porsche is also adding a manual back to the 911 Carrera S for North America because of customer demand. That's Fox Wheels. I'm Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, August 24th, and here are your headlines. Former NBA player Ennis Concert Freedom says he was kicked out of a WNBA game after a heated confrontation with Chicago Sky guard Natasha Cloud. Freedom claims Cloud cursed at him and made vulgar remarks after he celebrated a three-pointer made by Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham. Security eventually escorted Freedom from the arena. A new hospital is planned for Atlanta's South Side as Morehouse School of Medicine and Atrium Health are investing $700 million into a project on Metropolitan Parkway, with the city expected to contribute more than $115 million. The hospital is expected to open with only 50 beds, but eventually expand to more than 700. And finally, North Point Mall could soon be getting a massive makeover. The Alpharetta City Council has voted on a proposal to transform the 100-acre property into a mixed-use district anchored by a 20,000-seat arena designed for a potential NHL team to return to the Atlanta area. The plan also calls for over 1,300 apartments, 650 hotel rooms, more than 1.3 square feet of office, retail, and restaurant space also was included in the plans. It'll be nothing but sunshine today across the Atlanta area with a high of 91 and a low of 66. The Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. Tug and Los, but no Tug. Instead, it's Victor and I. So it's Victor and Los. We'll be taking you until 10 o'clock this morning. Before we hand it over, yes, that's right. Before we hand it over to Glenn Beck, then head right over into our midday with Buck and Clay, and then follow that up with Kimmer, who's going to be taking you from 3 to 6 with Pete and the entire gang.
Yes, it's
the
true.
gang, Flounder.
Flounder. Yes.
Well, he's a one-man gang. You can't mess with Flounder.
That's right.
Especially around here.
He's the leader. We all know.
Yeah. Well, no, he's got real power now. Like he makes big time decisions around
management
here.
now.
Exactly. Like I didn't really pay attention to it until he started wearing a suit every day to work, and now I was like, okay,
it's the cowboy hat for me. That just shows real.
That's true. That's true. Like. I don't think I've ever seen Flounder in shorts, but if he did wear shorts, that would tell me he was not management.
He was not management.
Now it's all long-legged stuff. He's got full pants on all the time. That's just how he goes. All right, let's get into this as the 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air. Jasmine Crockett. I will miss Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, without a doubt.
Honestly, the representative from, I'd say it's North Dallas. She's, okay. She had a portion of Oak Cliff. And Oak Cliff is the historical black neighborhood in Dallas. When Oak Cliff was prominent during the 1940s and 1950s, before all of the, all of LBJ's plans basically rotted it out, that is the area that Jasmine Crockett represents. And it was, as typical, a gerrymandered district that had a larger amount when you started talking about population. It was a predominantly black community, black district. Well, when Texas redrew, this is even before the United States Supreme Court said you can't gerrymander according to race. Once Texas redrew, Jasmine Crockett's seat went away because it included more of North Dallas, which is a mix of everybody. As soon as that occurred, Jasmine Crockett's out. Okay, that's just how it played out. So you went from a district that Jasmine Crockett's like, oh, everyone looks like me, to now you look like all of North Texas and Dallas, and suddenly she can't win.
But that's racist, don't you know?
Yeah, imagine that, when you actually do not draw according to racial lines. So Jasmine Crockett's going to be out. But on her way out, if you do recall what has happened in the last 6 months, James Tallarico, who's running for Senate there and is going to be going up against Ken Paxton, he was looking to win their primary. And his primary competitor was Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what occurs is James Tallarico goes on Stephen Colbert's show, and they decide, well, maybe we shouldn't air this. And the reason why they decided not to air it is because they'd have to give equal time to Jasmine Crockett. So they decide not to air it. Then they turned it into a fundraiser. Well, the Trump administration didn't want you to hear from James Tallarico. And it worked. Like, he made some money off it. James Tallarico ends up beating Jasmine Crockett. Now, Jasmine Crockett's been doing the podcast scene, right? She's been jumping everywhere she can. This is her last year she's going to have in Congress. And she decided that on her way out, she's going to drop some bombs. And I'm here for it because the reason why they basically got rid of her, it's like we couldn't get her to stop talking. And she just, it was embarrassing on a regular basis because she's educated from law school. She went to some of the best private schools in Dallas, yet she was playing a character of what she thought a mad black woman was.
Oh, well, one of the best things about her, for me, at least as a host and having to, do some talk about this, was the way she would change depending on who she was in front of.
Yes.
She's a typical Democrat who suddenly gets a different dialect.
When she got elected, she doesn't sound any different than you and I.
No.
In fact, when she was
sounded like the law student or the
she just sounded like the highly educated law student who had been in public service, and now I'm a sitting congresswoman. And here's what I'm going to do for my constituents. And then things changed quite a bit, where she decided, I'm going to play a character.
She had to be down for the struggle.
Right, exactly. Because, and let's face it, there are portions of the community that would look at her and go like, well, you've had a silver spoon the whole time.
Yep.
All right, she had to play it differently. Okay, so here is Jasmine Crockett. She's on a podcast, and she's asked about who she's going to back and who she's going to help. And I want to take you down a road because people are not saying this in Texas. However, it is 100% true.
In my mind, the best way that I can help the people of Texas is if I go in and I help out on these down ballot races, because typically people rely on the top of the ticket to drag people in. That's the marquee race. That's how you get people to come out. I personally don't feel like the excitement necessarily exists within the black community, right now. Like I don't feel like they're excited, right? But I do have some amazing black candidates that are running for office in some of the largest counties. So if I can introduce black folk to them, that may excite them and get them to the polls. So I'm working backwards.
All right. Here is what you need to know. First off, when it comes to the black population in this country, the largest amount, because it's the biggest state, is the state of Texas. Now, that's not by percentage. It's not like, other states where there might be a larger percentage of black community. But on number, the most is Texas. You need the black community to buy into you in the state of Texas to win big races. Jasmine Crockett is pointing something out, and the rest of the Democrat Party are pissed about it. That James Tallarico cannot seem to win over the black community. Now, would you like to know why?
Yes, please.
They think he's gay. They think Tallarico is gay. They have firmly bought into this man is gay.
I celebrated my 30th birthday with a pink scarf around my neck.
And for some reason, James Tallarico, in his mind, was like, I'm just going to be Austin flamboyant. And that's going to work for the rest of the state. The state that has the largest amount by population of the black community in any state in the country. And Jasmine Crockett is dancing all around it, yet saying, yeah, it's not going well. Why? Because they think and believe he's gay. All right?
It's the same problem Buttigieg is going to have.
Exactly. Pete Buttigieg, whenever they poll and they're like, why has he got 0% with the black community? I don't know why. I'm not really sure.
You tried to breastfeed your child.
This is still the show of honesty where we flat out told you, okay, here's the problem Josh Shapiro has. Like, tough break. You're Jewish. That ain't going to work over there. It doesn't work with John Ossoff either. But when it comes to some of these candidates where, like for instance, I get a kick out of Stephen A. Smith, who when he talks about Pete Buttigieg, he is not doing it in the most honest way. He's just saying, well, he just doesn't inspire us.
Doesn't inspire us, yeah.
Yeah, okay, just come on out and say it. It's because he's gay, and James Tallarico has this problem in Texas.
100%. And I really hope that Buttigieg does run in 2028 because I want to see some of these ads come out with the whole fake apparatus thing he was using, and I won't go into that now. But no, you're so onto this with the thing about Tallarico is not just that they think he's gay, is the black community also doesn't take kindly to the whole transgender mess that's going on and having men beat up women.
The polling is incredibly poor.
Yeah.
Incredibly poor.
It's one of those 80-20 or 20, however do they say?
Yeah, well, we had the numbers that when it came to the black vote that voted for Joe Biden. Now, remember, the number that Donald Trump got was historically high. Now, with that vote who voted for Joe Biden, only 69% of them say they're going to vote Democrat again, which means you've lost another 31% off of what you'd already lost. Replacement theory in this country is real, but it's not about white voters, and it's not about white working class. Replacement theory is about eliminating the amount of black and Hispanic voters that have left the Democrat Party and putting in a new underclass. That is who replacement theory is. It's always painted as, well, it's white theory. No. Go ask Hispanics in South Texas. Go ask black Americans that actually have an ID and want to vote and actually want voter ID laws. That's who's being replaced. And Jasmine Crockett is just pointing out we ain't buying into this one.
She a black woman scorned, and you know what they say. And so she's not going to go out quietly. No. I can't wait to hear what else she drops because she's not happy. You got to understand, she lost her congressional seat, and she thinks that, it's racist, this and that and the other. So she runs, and you got to give her credit. So she runs and goes, I'm going to get the biggest seat in Texas.
Fine, I'm popular. I'll go take this.
Yep. And then when she gets beaten by Tallarico, she's not going to go away quietly. She's going to drop some more bombs, and I can't wait to see what they are.
I'm just waiting for her to just say it out loud. Because right now she's kind of tap dancing around it. Yeah. She's not saying she's playing nice because the left over the weekend was so upset with her over why are you damaging Tallarico? It's like, well, woman scorned.
Woman scorned.
Just as Victor pointed out to you. But she's not dropping the biggest bomb. She's hinting at the bomb.
But the more the Democrats, the establishment gets on her, I think the more she's going to say.
Yeah, at some point she's just going to go.
She's going to snap the fingers.
They think he's gay.
Yeah.
They believe this is what they believe of him. Yeah. And I will tell you, if there is a community that sniffs out phony faster than everyone else, it is the black community.
Man, without a doubt. To some things, but yeah.
Yes. Except Democrat politicians, apparently.
Democrat politicians.
But when you have somebody who's full of it, I think the first community that goes, hold on a second. I know you're lying to me.
Yeah.
That is, remember Tallarico, they ended up marching out like, okay, yeah, I have a girlfriend, she models, she's in a different state. I mean, that's basically what that no one's seen. That's basically what they did. Where'd you meet her? I met her in a gay bar. Oh, okay. Well, now, granted, women going to gay bars is like the most awesome because nobody messes with them and they're going to have a great time.
Exactly.
But why are you the straight dude at the gay bar who just happened to meet your girlfriend there? Okay,
So I can actually speak to this because in my look, I had a lot of jobs.
Here we go.
Growing up.
Here we go.
I had a lot of jobs growing up. I bartended in a gay bar. And I'm not afraid to say this, and not a lot of people know this. So, Los, this is breaking news on the Tug and Los show. But I spent a little time. There was a club that was just a club that had a section that was a gay section, and I was a bartender, and I didn't see a whole lot of straight guys in there trying to pick up girls.
No.
But I did see a lot of straight girls come in that would sit at the bar.
100%.
And they had a lot of fun going back and forth chatting with me because they would say, "You're not gay. How are you bartending?" And I'd be like, "Well, you're not gay.
Yeah, this is a job."
But yeah, exactly.
Right.
But no, to your point, in all seriousness, folks, I was a bartender. I served a lot of people, and there wasn't, you didn't see that. We would joke about it. Straight guys will joke about it, but you're just not going to see straight guys.
I'm sure that Tallarico was the first straight guy in a gay bar to pick up a straight woman.
Pick up a straight woman.
I mean, you've
with a
bartended
pink
there.
scarf.
He was celebrating his scarf. All right, I'm going to let him have his way on this thing. Let's go on out to the phones. You know him? Oh, we lost Liberal John?
We did.
Oh, man.
Call back. I dare you.
Oh, I was so
Please.
excited about this. He had a point. Let me see. So, let's see. He had something on Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Said he was waiting for y'all to say who y'all were talking about because it sounded like y'all were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, she's a little crazy too, so I'll talk about her.
Jasmine Crockett. Okay, since he got into it, I'm going to get into it. Marjorie Taylor Greene had her run. Mm-hmm. She did. She had her run.
Yeah.
Then, as the run started to end and she ditched out of politics, the next thing it turned into was, well, how do I align myself Jeff Duncan style? And let's see where this goes.
That's a great example. It's a wonderful example.
It's what she did. Now, this happens. Now, I think it's happened far...
She wants to stay relevant.
Yes. It's happened far more on the right than it does with the left. Like, for instance, when you have somebody who is left-wing oriented, who is Democrat-oriented, when they go on Fox News, they're celebrated as being, this is the Democrat. This is who they are. Do you know that S.E. Cupp spent so long on Fox News, and then as soon as it was, well, I got to get a new contract, another gig, now she shows up on CNN, and it's like, you are the flimsiest. She's not even considered Republican or conservative.
Right.
She's just, this is who she is. And so, now that's far away from Jasmine Crockett. But when it came to Marjorie Taylor Greene, it was, well, as you pointed, how do you stay relevant? This is what I'm going. And for as much as she tried to say like she was part of some, I'm more MAGA than anyone else. I'm like, okay, there are issues that I agree with you in terms of the spending. The problem ends up being is that the way that, and most notably, you had people that were trying to derail anything that the administration was doing. And once you're doing that, how do you then claim to be a supporter of the administration? That's where I was like, okay, I'm not making the connection here.
Yeah.
I'm just not. But do I appreciate the fact that she pulled out naked pictures of Hunter Biden and put him on the congressional floor? Yes. Yes, I did. I had no problem with that. I was like, good. Put it in people's faces what was going on.
Exactly. And MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene could have been a decent congresswoman. She just kind of went a little crazy.
She just had her run.
And yeah,
it's
she
fine.
did. And when it came to, she could see she wasn't going to get reelected, didn't want to go out like that, and then had her little tit for tat for Trump, but she wants to stay relevant. She likes the spotlight. I mean, you could see that. So
sure, there were certain people that you knew you would. There are, when you start looking at over 400 people that are in Congress, and there are certain people that you call to put them on television, and there's a lot that you don't.
Yeah,
she did not mind being one of those people, and at the point where you get called for The View, it's like, why is she? Because she's going to be the milquetoast Republican.
She's the new little darling that will say bad things about Trump.
And I also think that had its run. That hasn't happened now in months. It's like, okay, it just. So I used to joke around about this about people I worked with. Like, and there's people I still work with. Where what they have, like they bring it with them everywhere. And it's a big bag. And they drag that big bag into a room. And you're like, oh, what is in there? And you realize they have a big bag of nothing. All right? They bring nothing to the table. I think what happened is Marjorie Taylor Greene had that run, and they quickly found out there's not a lot here.
Yeah.
She comes in with a giant bag, and you're like, oh, it's gonna light things on fire. This is gonna be crazy.
It just wasn't enough substance.
And you realize it's a big bag of nothing. All right, when we get back, so you're telling me these men are different? Color me surprised. I wasn't aware. We'll talk about that next. We continue the Morning Extra. That's Victor Amlos. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, August 24th. The Atlanta Braves got a win to close out the weekend in the Little League Classic, beating the Milwaukee Brewers last night 4-2. The final, Tyler Mahle ends up throwing 5 innings of just 1-run ball. Michael Harris II hit his 21st homer of the season. As for the Braves, they are off today before opening up another big series at Truist Park starting tomorrow night as the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers will be in town. More chaos in college football as a court ruling will allow Daquan Wright to join the LSU football team. Wright has been in camp with the Cleveland Browns but will be waived. He is the first player who will return to college football after signing with an NFL team, and for now will get his 5th year of eligibility. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now through August 31st at Marietta Toyota. Thinking about going electric? Well, the 2026 Toyota BZ gives you an all-electric Toyota with no gas stops, a quiet commute, the confidence of buying from a dealership you know. For drivers who want to spend less time at the pump and more time enjoying the drive, BZ is a smart way to try all-electric without leaving Toyota behind. Every new Toyota includes a nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage as long as you own it. We've been voted Best of COP for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, Best Service Center. For well-qualified buyers, special financing is available on the new 2026 Toyota BZ. 0% APR for up to 72 months through August 31st. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium, Marietta Toyota. Since 1975, we've been here and we'll be here for you.
0% APR for 72 months with approved credit through SCTF. Not all buyers qualify. Offer ends 8/31/26. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, and title. It includes $699 dock fee and $257 electronic tag fee.
Georgia Tech football is poised to make history again this season, and you don't want to miss a minute of the action. From pregame traditions, game-changing plays, and an electric in-game atmosphere, the Flats is the place to be this fall. Running up the middle, hurtling into the end zone, touchdown Jackets! All tickets are on sale now. Secure your seats today by visiting RamblingWreck.com/tickets. Sting 'em.
Babe, can you knock out my honey-do list today?
Oh, I know. I told you I'd get to it this weekend.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalomia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. I can't fix your marriage, but I can fix your house. With our handyman for a day service, we'll handle those drywall patches, that door that won't latch, the leaky faucet, and the wood rot all around your house. The whole punch list, done fast, done right. You keep your weekend, she gets the house done. Everybody wins. Book your handyman for a day at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
When Keisha Lance Bottoms got elected, she said,
"We must be good stewards of your tax dollars."
Just 30 days later,
taxpayers covered the cost of a first-class ticket for Mayor Bottoms' husband to fly to the Super Bowl
on her taxpayer-funded credit card.
Atlanta taxpayers shelled out more than $2,600.
Worse,
more than $11,600 in luxury chauffeured car service in just her first 5 months in office.
And taxpayers covered this tab.
The State Ethics Commission has fined Keisha Lance Bottoms.
She accepted over $110,000 in contributions that exceeded legal limits,
violating campaign finance laws.
The commission's chairman declared
it's an egregious violation of the act.
And the verdict from a former prosecutor?
It smells bad. What don't you get about the rules and regulations? If Mayor Bottoms wants her legacy to be too greedy to care, they're off to a great start.
Keisha Lance Bottoms. She's out for herself, not Georgia.
Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Need a break from all the political talk? Tune into Holy Crap It's Sports with Pete Davis every weekday at 5:20 on The Kimmer Show. It's your daily dose of what's hot in the sports world, from the field to the locker room, with Pete's unfiltered opinion and a side of laughs. It's smart, it's funny, it's sports with edge. Holy Crap It's Sports. Catch it at 5:15 only on The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. The 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air. Thank you for them. They're freaking awesome. Loved them for years. That maintenance agreement, you can sign up for it and get taken care of on your home. And it also includes 2 different maintenance times on your home. Come out right before we get into the hot months. Also come out right before we get into the cold months. Maintenance on your systems. Keep everything running. That's what Central Heating and Air is able to offer you. Victor in Los in right now. No Tug. He'll be back tomorrow as he's enjoying his last day of vacation. Maybe he's sad driving, Victor.
Yeah, he might be sad driving.
As he's like picking stuff up around I don't know if they did a hotel or a house, but it's like, you start grabbing everything and realizing like tomorrow.
Oh man, back to the grind.
The alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. I got to get up early.
Finally re-screwed on the Jack Daniels lid.
Yeah, had to put the Jack Daniels lid back. It's been sitting open for like 4 days where all he does is just grab a cup of ice and just pour a little soda on there with his Jack. Now he's like, oh, man. It's like putting it back on, just like it's like a little buddy of his. Like, we had a lot of fun, didn't we, little buddy?
It was a great 4 days.
It was a great 4 days. Where's your brother? Oh, he's in the trash can. That's the way that one played out. All right, so I wanted to bring this up with you as we close out the 8 o'clock hour. So we have talked about in the past the studies that have focused on women when it comes to the left. And, obviously the Clancy, that entire court case is a good example of just mentally ill women. And what the numbers have shown is that liberal women have a significantly higher rate of mental health issues than pretty much anyone else in the country.
Hence the name Karen.
Karen. Like, it totally fits. Here's the Karen. Here's what it is. And again, significantly higher. Not just a little bit. Significantly higher than everyone else in the country. All right, well, what about men? No? Here was what this happened. And so this was done by Pew Research. And it goes back 6 years ago, but it's worth reminding people. And part of the reason why I think the numbers had also started here and then skyrocketed is that liberal men are taught to be afraid of everything. At this time period, it was, well, COVID's going to kill all you. Make sure you triple mask. All of that stuff. Liberal men were wildly compliant with it. And then it's been, let's see, what else is going to kill you? Well, climate change. It's going to kill you any day.
You're going to burn up.
You don't know what's going to
freeze.
happen. Toxic masculinity.
Yep.
It's going to kill you. Red meat. It's good. Now it would have me had I just kept consuming it at that level. But yeah, it's like, hey, it'll kill you. Everything that was being pushed at them was always like, it's going to kill you.
Well, and liberal men are being taught not to be men.
Right. Because that'll kill you. So what the numbers showed was that more liberal men under 30 said they had a mental health condition than both moderate and conservative women under 30.
Wow.
So if you were a liberal male under 30, you'd been taught for a lifetime everything's going to kill you. Mm-hmm. And you've probably carried it forward. And so we knew that the Karens, and typically the Karens always like, all right, 25 to 54, white liberal woman, Karen. Here's what it's going to be. What we didn't know until we started seeing this research, and now it's continued to show up, that men 30 into their 40s and older that are heavily liberal have this sort of mental health condition that's related to them. Now, they'll always, you know what they'll do though? It'll always turn into, because like machismo is horrible to them, Victor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
They would never consider it.
Nope.
What they look at it is, the fact that I'm up front with my mental health issues shows you how brave I am.
How brave.
I'm just so brave.
How emotional. I'm in touch with my emotions. Or
yes. I need that Ambien.
I need my pink scarf.
My glass of wine so I can, because it's part of my mental health. If somebody messes up my coffee in the morning, my mental health will be off.
Well, hits came, I'm going to pregame, guys. Let's pregame with some Bud Light.
Yes, the part where at some point the Karens got together and they thought, how do we market to liberal male. Let's give him Dylan Mulvaney.
Let's give him Dylan.
Let's give him a woman.
When I pregame,
who's actually a man.
But that's their idea. That's what this. You wonder why there's a mental problem, which there is a mental problem in this country, and mental health needs to be addressed, and a lot of it are going to be these liberal dudes and beyond that. But you're right, they have been taught and indoctrinated. You want, if you're in elementary school, you're not going to get to drive at age 16 because the planet's going to burn, or it's one crisis after another.
You're not going to make it anyway.
And you're not going to make it. Yeah.
So I have a question, as we just got a couple minutes left in this segment. Something to ponder. So if you have been following the Lindsay Clancy trial, that is now getting to the point where we're gonna get a verdict here, and as we pointed out, the people that are showing up there like it's a football game, like pre-gaming for it, them's Karens are nuts, okay? And considering that the defense is saying that she was of sound mind when she strangled her 3 kids, okay, there's the debate. And the prosecution, that's the direction they're going. The defense is pointing out something different. The defense is pointing out the amount of mood-altering drugs that she was on, the amount of hormones and hormone therapy she was given. I ask this question. If you can ignore a woman who murders her 3 children because of the hormones you put her on, what makes you think it's good for your 12-year-old, 13-year-old who's confused about their sex? Ponder that one. If this is a justifiable reason for a woman to have gone crazy and to murder 3 kids, or at the very least kill 3 kids, those are 2 different things legally, what makes you think your 13-year-old who isn't sure about themselves that that's the right thing for them?
Look at the past shooters, these mass shooters.
Yep. All sorts of SSRIs and hormone therapies.
Yep.
Just something to ponder. When you're at the water cooler today, bring it up with your friends. Including
the latest one who wanted to blow up the New York State building.
Hormone therapy, SSRIs. Just something to kind of go through, just to ponder there. By the way, liberal men, you might need those hormones. Like now I'm just saying, maybe
they need a shot of masculinity.
Maybe a little testosterone in your life. Just pointing out. Listen, testosterone's good for all of us. We start producing less of it. Not Victor. Victor's just producing more of it.
I'm a machine, baby.
When Victor gets a car to 120, his testosterone level just shoots through the roof.
Take a motorcycle at 150 miles an hour, and you're going to make some testosterone.
That is what he does. And that's dangerous. And he's like, bring it on. All right, when we get 9 o'clock hour, this man is not getting a new trial, and it's probably in his best interest. We'll talk about that next as we get into the 9 o'clock hour of the Morning Extra. This is Extra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
So here's your not-so-little secret about the Democrat socialists, a.k.a. communists out there running for office. That truth is, these people thrive on the abject stupidity and ignorance of the American voters. Look at what they're promising everybody. Free childcare, free paid family leave, free sick leave. And of course, there is no such thing as a free lunch. So who pays for it? We're going to tax the millionaires so that they pay their fair share. So here are some actual statistics about the top 1% of taxpayers. That would include the millionaires and the billionaires. And you will never get this from the media. Let's look at that top 1%. They earn 22.4% of all adjusted gross income, but they pay 40.4% of all total income taxes. Take a look at the bottom 50%. Those are Democrat voters. They earn 11.5% of all the total income, but they only pay 3% of the total income taxes. Who is not paying their fair share? By the way, if you want tax rates instead of comparisons of actual taxes paid, the bottom 50% of taxpayers pay an average tax rate of 3.7%. The top 1% pay a tax rate of 26.1%. The actual numbers do not support this. The rich need to pay their fair share BS. That's why you never hear it from the media. They're for the Democrats, you know. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Tom, the honest car guy, and we got a surprise call in from a customer of ours, Travis, out in Jefferson, Georgia. Travis, good to hear from you, buddy. You want to tell a little bit about the experience you had with me at the honest car guy?
The whole experience, honestly, was one of the smoothest car experiences that we've ever gone through, meaning that there's no pressure. There's no runaround. It's just straight up honest service. The price that you guys present or find for you, that's what you are going to pay. And you just get a great deal. I've been educated to a newer process of the car dealership game. You guys have not come in and you're setting the benchmark for how a car dealing and car buying and car selling really should be.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the honest car guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The Morning Extra, every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Waiting on the details, CJ Pop of Fox News, from President Trump's so-called economic D-Day targeting the bank account of the Islamic Republic, which already is reeling from a direct hit. Fox's Trey Inks explains from Tel Aviv.
The economic pressure comes as the Iranian rial crossed $2 million to $1, a historic low for the country's currency. The head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council responded on X, saying if the economic war continues, not a single drop of oil will be exported, neither through the Strait of Hormuz nor from anywhere in the Persian Gulf. Iran will regard any country's participation in or support for America's economic war against the Iranian people as an act of war. Despite this statement, reports do indicate that crossings through the Strait of Hormuz are up 400% over the last 2 weeks. The United States is overseeing vessels out of the Persian Gulf through a safer southern passage.
Well, things like natural honey, essential oils, candles, hockey sticks, as well as paper goods on President Trump's 50% tariff on those goods from Canada, their leader, over the weekend.
We recognize that some U.S. companies and some U.S. states are innocent bystanders in a dispute that they did not want.
Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney, whose countermove could begin September 8th. Coming up shortly, what will be the final day of testimony in front of a Massachusetts jury, which will decide the fate of Lindsay Clancy, the mom accused of killing her 3 kids.
The witness taking the stand will continue from Friday, and it's Dr. Avram Mack, a forensic psychiatrist, who testified on Friday that he believes that Lindsay Clancy was not suffering from postpartum psychosis and that she knew the difference between right and wrong when she killed her 3 children. He interviewed her 2 times and reviewed her medical file as well. The jury heard about that. This case has really become a competing story from 2 expert witnesses.
Fox's Nate Foy outside the courthouse in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Closing arguments could begin as soon as today. America's listening to Fox News.
Life moves fast, and it's easy to feel spiritually drained. That's why InTouch.org is here to help you stay grounded in God's Word every day. At InTouch.org, you'll find biblical teaching from Dr. Charles Stanley, daily devotionals, free resources, and messages that speak directly to what you're facing. Whether you need encouragement, clarity, or a moment to reconnect with God, it's all right at your fingertips. Discover a place to grow your faith and find real hope at InTouch.org.
Shh, here he comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Search for the Extra 106.3 app wherever you download apps by searching XTRA 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Well, you really went for it, didn't you, Bryce? Welcome back. It's Morning Extra. It's Victor and Los. We're kind of like the movie. Now I was trying.
We get the
like I know where it is. No Tug today. He'll be back tomorrow as he'll finish off his vacation. So Victor had gotten a response from a listener asking him, like, hey, enjoying the show. Is there any way y'all can drop in some mariachi music? And like I said, it's close enough.
We try.
That's what I had.
It's what you had, and it was on the fly. You had like 90 seconds. So, no, you did good.
Yeah,
listen,
that's pretty good.
Still an A+.
Absolutely.
I'm just pointing out that this kind of sounds like it would be at any Mexican food joint on a Friday night.
Oh, absolutely.
And if it's not, it should be.
Yeah.
That's Cecilia Cruz, who I love, a native of Cuba that used to be free and she would sing about it.
There you go. There's the background on it. Considering that Tug and I really love telling background stories on different albums, different music, that's Victor stepping up for you.
Yeah, that's a great feeling right there.
Well, thank you.
Victor was like, I know what we do on the show. We tell the backstory. Now, had you talked about, and then she made a boat out of trash in a car hood,
bathtub,
and then that's what they got out of there. I'd be like, man, Victor's all over it on that one. Instead, he's like, yeah, he's from Cuba. It used to be free. It's just how it went. Yeah, again, this is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 1063. All right, let's get to the first thing to know this morning.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
Start off with the bad news.
Put a boot in
I think it's good news for all involved. I think, which is how I would put it forward. All right, so if you have been following along with the court case, and let's face it, it's been in the news. It's, as I said, when it was occurring, when you have two high school students, one dead and the other one going away for prison for a very long time, that is a tragedy in itself, and it's an awful story. This isn't just like regular violence on the street. This is an incredible story that involved, in this case, the man who was seeking another trial was Carmelo Anthony. And to go through this case, it kind of felt like, all right, clearly there was a confrontation in which Carmelo Anthony stabbed another student in the heart and killed him. What we didn't know is what has now come to light. And Victor, I think, considering that Carmelo Anthony is going away for, I think it's 35 years.
Yeah.
That's lucky. All right. So over the weekend, you had the state of Texas, with the judge presiding, decided that Carmelo Anthony would not get another case. And his lawyers had been pushing it. Everyone on, notably the left, was talking about, and this, again, it shouldn't be a left-right issue, but this is what it turned into. The left was pushing how this young man needs another case. Look what happened. Look at the jury. There were no black people on the jury, even though there were plenty of people that were not white on the jury. That also then turned into, look at the man he stabbed. He had a history of violence at the school. Okay, here's what we found out and what put an end to all of this. Carmelo Anthony had been dating a woman, dating another girl, dating another student, and he had texted her talking about how he was on the verge and he was fantasizing about stabbing someone to death. He even pointed out how he was looking forward to licking the blood off the blade. And within a couple of hours, he stabbed a kid to death. All right, that, while a target was not in mind, is still premeditation, and that is lethal injection in Texas. He's getting 30, 35 years. I think his parents need to shut up.
Yeah.
I think his lawyers need to shut up. Because if they want another trial and they ever got one, he's going to be killed by lethal injection.
Yeah. Or he's going to be sitting on death row for far too long. But no, that's so true. But of course, they had to make it about color and they had to make it about things. But there, and you said it, there shouldn't be any politicking here, but they can't help themselves. But the fact that is, he may not have named a name, but that's premeditation. He thought about it, fantasized about it, and then he acted on it.
So I enjoy our friend Phil Holloway, and you can always catch him when it comes to he's on the MK True Crime podcast, and he handles so much of the work when it comes to working on that network and just following along with court cases and giving us a legal perspective. Again, he'll come into studio with us and break down some of the stories that are out there. And Phil Holloway had a really funny post. So there is a journalist that works in Dallas named J.D. Miles. It says, CBS News reporter, born in Dallas, raised in Plano, schooled at SMU, lived in Tennessee and Oklahoma. And this particular person had pointed out how, says, here is the actual ruling from the judge. There's no explanation of why he denied Carmelo Anthony's motion for a new trial. And Phil Holloway got the same note. And he just wrote, quote, upon reviewing the motion, the record, the evidence, and the arguments, the briefs, and the relevant case law, the court has determined that the motion should be denied. That was what he put in there. And then he wrote, yet J.D. Miles, CBS Texas reporter, born in Dallas, raised in Plano, schooled at SMU, says there's no explanation why Carmelo Anthony's motion for a new trial was denied. Immediately, J.D. Miles was so upset about it. I'm like, well, dude, don't be a moron.
Yeah.
The judge told you what he looked into and why. But yet, the push was, well, this man needs a new trial. If he got a new trial, now we're getting into a really weird place because he ain't going free.
Mm-mm.
In fact, I think that 30, 35 years might be entirely too light based on the additional information that has now come out.
Evidence, yeah.
Yeah. Premeditation.
Yeah.
That his mindset wasn't one of defense. It was, I'm going to kill someone.
Right. I want, not just I'm going to, I want to taste the blood of the blade on the blade. I mean, that is some sick stuff, but that's a person who's making that decision and clearly had the intention and just needed that catalyst, let's just say.
Yeah. He just needed, because as he said, and he had it in the text messages, I'm on the verge. He went out looking for trouble. He was looking for the opportunity. Clearly, it's like that's premeditation. That young man would die in Huntsville, Texas by lethal injection. His parents need to shut up. The lawyers need to shut up, and they have to, you know what, go do your time. You killed a kid.
Yeah,
and you got off pretty light. In the state of Texas, you got off pretty light. You will be out by right around 48, 49, 50 years old. All right, you'll still have some life to live. Good for you.
And the kid he killed will never.
We'll never have any of that.
Nope.
So that's the way that goes. All right. So the Trump administration looking to save some taxpayers some money? Maybe, perhaps. I'm interested.
I tell you what, we talk about Doge and we talk about other things, but Trump did something very simple and he saved. And honestly, let's be honest. They're saying $3 billion here. You know darn well it's probably more than that because they say that there's 12 million or whatever number they're using for illegals when we know it's been over 20 million since Ronald Reagan. I mean, so, but Donald Trump, President Trump did something simple. He just said, hey, we aren't going to allow for illegals to start to continue to take advantage of what I often call the welfare state. But some of these programs that government has done, namely by the Democrats, that have been a welcoming, basically you're putting up a letter saying, hey, come. It's like a mouse with cheese. You put more out, you're going to get more of them.
Sure.
And maybe that's a bad, I shouldn't. No, I'm not referring to my people as Speedy Gonzalez. Although I love Speedy Gonzalez.
Walked right into that one.
I sure did. I didn't just walk in. I opened the door and went in myself.
Did I really just? Yeah, I did.
Oh, man. Bryce, that's when you needed some Speedy Gonzalez music. I love that cartoon. And yes, my daughter will watch that cartoon. But no, when you have these incentives for people to come over, and I'll put it to you this way. The people of this country love immigration. We don't mind legal immigration because legal immigration, you're usually getting people who want to assimilate. They want to come here for employment. They want to immigrate to employment. But what the Democrats want is they want a bunch of people coming over illegally to immigrate to welfare. And you can't sustain that. If you're going to be an immigrant of welfare, of employment, then come on. But if you're going to be an immigrant of welfare, we can't sustain that. We're not going to be able to take care of our own people, let alone you. But what President Trump has done recently is he's cutting them off to where you can't keep putting in and getting these subsidies when you're an illegal.
This has long been talked about. I think the person who is at least in the highest office who has talked about this is Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, for the better part of a decade, has brought up, if you incentivize illegal immigration, you'll get more illegal immigrants. Now, back when it was helping the Chamber of Commerce Republicans and it was hurting the labor unions, the Democrats couldn't stand it. They didn't want anything to do with it. They were looking at it as like, you're hurting the wages of our labor unions. We can't have that. And you're basically providing cheap labor to the Chamber of Commerce Republicans. All right, the Democrats have now flipped on that. They look at it as it's all about power. And I do believe that the best way to deal with this isn't just at the border as far as rounding people up and sending them out. It isn't just hey, ICE is going to work in your community. You have to make it to where the people that come into this country, however they find their way in here illegally, that it's hard here. It is hard to find work. You can't get any services. You got to if you make it hard, people will go home.
Yeah. Well, I could tell stories of growing up and my dad just telling me, but even before I came along, of how many jobs he worked at one time and all the things he had to do while learning English. He had to learn the language and try to assimilate and work 2-3 jobs at a time and do all the things that somebody who wants to achieve and chase a dream would do. And it's not easy. It was not easy for him. In fact, my grandfather used to tell my dad, just come back. Come back to Mexico. It's easier down here. You don't have to have such a hard time. But my dad didn't want to. He knew what this dream here could do, the American dream. He knew what it could be. But Los, you're absolutely right. If you make it hard, people have to work for it. And not everybody wants to. They want instant gratification.
And I do believe that is a significant difference when you talk about joining the labor force. And I said this when I was in Minnesota and I came back here. I was like, there are a lot of people that are of Somali origin that are trying to legitimately work in Minneapolis. And for that reason, I'm like, cool. But you also have the potential, the numbers have gone anywhere from 8 billion to 18 billion that were stolen by the Somalis. And the schemes that they were running in conjunction with the local Democrat Party and the state Democrat Party. 8 to 18 billion. It's like, I'm sorry, you got to go. And so much of that money was based on gaming the system. And so if the system is a lot tighter and keeps you from being able to game it, or is not just outright giving you money, well, then you got to find a job. Well, the problem is if we have E-Verify, suddenly maybe I can't find a job.
Suddenly you can't, yeah.
Suddenly you turn into, well, I got to go elsewhere. All right. I don't think that is a lack of compassion so much as it's an adherence to law.
Yeah. Well, we're either going to be a nation of laws or we're not. And I have such passion with this topic, and I don't mind speaking harshly about it because some people will say that I'm being cruel. But no, I'm not. When my family earned it, and then other people are just being given things.
It's why it matters to you.
Yes.
Because you've seen it in practice of your family having earned it and having worked for it. And it instilled not just an appreciation, but a gratitude for it. And I think that is the big difference when we talk about why you have so many people that are for voter ID. It's because at a core level, they recognize their value and their power comes from being a citizen. And you're essentially ignoring that for anyone else, so that they get all the benefits of citizenry without
the hard work,
and they don't have to be gracious about it one bit,
and they don't have to appreciate it
at all.
And by gosh, citizenship should mean something. It really should. And this is the only country where we have Democrats, lefties who think that citizenship shouldn't mean anything. Oh, we're a citizen of the world. There's not a country outside of here that'll tell you that we're a citizen of the world.
No,
there's not.
No, they have defined themselves by where they're from. This is tribal, and I know that we're constantly having people talking about, hey, we've got to break up this tribal mentality. And there's a portion of that I agree with because some tribal stuff is just flat dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, I don't buy into that. Don't agree with it. But where you're from does kind of express the values that you typically came up with. And if I was to go to somewhere else across the world and somebody's going to say, well, that's an American, they should rightly think, well, this is what he probably believes in.
Yeah, he's a gun-toting American. Truck driving, gun-toting.
I think guns are good.
Motorcycle riding, yeah.
So what do you think about Taiwan? And I think guns are good.
That would have been a better answer.
That should have been Darlene Graham's answer to everything.
She
is
wouldn't
what they
be
should
in the
have
hot
done.
water she's in.
But you would imagine that anywhere I went in the world, and you could be wrong about it, but you would imagine, hey, he probably appreciates freedom. Probably appreciates liberty. Probably believes that he has he's from the best country in the world. That's why he's an ugly American. And every single one of I'd be like, all right, 7 out of 10. Nailed it.
You nailed it.
Totally nailed it. You have it exactly right. But that's the idea. It's that where you're from does have a belief in who you are.
That's so true. I will tell you this. One of the questions I get consistently, whether I'm in Mexico, Spain, wherever, is, oh, you're American. Do you have guns?
Yep.
I kid you not. That's usually the question.
The World Cup, when we had the World Cup here for the month and a half, the amount of Europeans that were traveling here, and all they were bringing up, because they had so many social media posts, as they're going to Waffle House at 1 a.m, as they're in some small town and getting help, as they're having breakfast in some small town America place, all they were told is, oh, America, it's gun violence and there's school shootings every day. And look, they just bang away on the streets. I remember the South African who was laughing as he had walked from his hotel to a convenience store. He goes, it's perfectly safe out here. He said every truck that drives by is doing like 5-10 miles an hour coming off the interstate. He goes, in my country, that means some people are trying to jack the truck because it's driving too slow. He's like, are you kidding? Everything we heard about this country is completely wrong. I'm like, thank you.
Let me tell you, there are parts of Mexico, if the train's going slow enough or the bus is going slow enough, the people on the outside are getting a free ride.
Yes.
That's just
how it is.
Or there's no seats.
Yeah.
And they let them do it. They let them do it.
Yeah. It's
but no,
what it is.
You're so right. The World Cup was so great this time for that reason. I mean, how many posts did you see of these Europeans walking, and especially even Australians, walking into a Bass Pro Shop and going through the gun
looking
department?
around like, what? Really?
That was beautiful.
I can buy.
You can buy those guns?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I got a few in my safe.
Exactly.
Me and the Kimmer.
And they're because I remember they're staring. They're looking at a shotgun, and they're looking at it like, do you realize how hard that is to get a hold of in Austria?
We can't get that.
Like in Australia, they told you like, no, we'll do a gun back program.
We're going to buy it back.
And then once they bought up all your guns, then they turned it into, when COVID hit, this totalitarian state.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't defend yourself.
Canada did the same thing. You're not going to defend yourself.
I mean, you have gun rights. And the reason why you have gun rights is just in case your government gets tyrannical.
Right. And that's something right there, Los, that not enough people, no one's taught anymore in our school, in the government schools. The Second Amendment was not written for hunters.
No.
It was written to stop a
tyrannical government.
That's it.
A tyrannical leader. If at any point your government becomes tyrannical, then you have a Second Amendment, and your duty is to defend yourself from it. You're right. It wasn't, because that's always the argument that comes up.
Always the argument.
Well, I mean, they didn't envision this. You didn't use this for hunting. I'm like, no, according to the Second Amendment, can have the same weapons as the military.
As the government. Or
military, now, let's face it, it's never going to happen.
As Joe Biden said, you don't have an F-16.
Yeah, you can't own that cannon. Damn it, Joe, I can own a cannon if I want.
I can own a cannon.
And I can't own an F-16, although quite impossible, but
right.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Legally. Mm-hmm. So it just goes to that point. All right, this is the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3. No Tug today. Just myself and Victor will be taking you until 10 o'clock. When we get back right here on the Morning Extra,
this seems to be the very epitome of a movement that is now dying. We'll talk about that death. We'll celebrate that death a little bit, but we'll tell you why it's happening. That's coming up next right here on the Morning Extra.
Hey, I'm back. It's Los. Let's talk about Skag and Howard Brothers. Is your grass growing faster than your mower can handle? It's time for you to level up. Level up with a Skag mower. They're built tough. They're made to move. And the cuts are so clean. You're going to make everyone in your neighborhood jealous with that Skag. Skag mowers don't mess around when it comes to getting the outside work done. Pay attention. Whether you have your own or, hey, maybe that neighbor of yours has a lawn service. Chances are, when those professionals get over there, they're riding Skag mowers. All right, they're using Skag mowers. Take a look. You can find your next Skag mower at Howard Brothers. Their team can get you leveled up with the best mower in town. Find a Howard Brothers near you at howardbrothers.com. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Skag and Howard Brothers.
Neil Bortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
Hey, it's Drake Baldwin. Everyone knows my winning team on the field, but when there's no hot water, I need a win at my home base. When it comes to plumbing, my winning team is Superior. Superior Plumbing is there whenever I need a leak repaired, toilet replaced, or a water heater installed. For over 40 years, they've been Atlanta's go-to plumbers. And Superior is still locally owned. For Superior, there's no job too small.
For Superior, the honest one, call 770-422 Plum.
Braves fans, mark your calendars as the Dodgers and Rockies come to town August 25th through the 30th. Fans can look forward to the Harry Potter and HBCU specialty ticket packages during the week. Both include a game ticket and a specialty bobblehead.
And that's crushed to deep right. Knocked out by Olsen.
Then make sure to arrive early on Saturday for Hunting and Fishing Night, presented by the Georgia Department of Natural Resources and Realtree. Enjoy a variety of interactive exhibits, including live reptiles, a massive aquarium display, inflatable archery, hunting license sales, and more fun for the whole family. Plus, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Chipper Jones Realtree APX Camo replica jersey. The week wraps up on Sunday as the first 3,000 kids through the gates will score the Kids City Connect Sliding Mick giveaway. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out the fun and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be on the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
We've all heard it before. Buy one, get one windows. 10% off if you call today. $500 off if you sign tonight. But are these really a special? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Hi, this is Candace with Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Don't fall for it. It's exhausting trying to keep up with all the fake specials being offered. And we all say the same thing. We're all licensed, we're all insured, we all have 5-star reviews. At Exovations, we want to earn your business the right way. But don't take our word for it. Let us show you why we say we are different from other contractors. To find out what it means to have an on-time, on-budget, and stress-free renovation, call me today at 770-205-2995 or online at exovations.com. That's exovations.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire.
expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-869-2045 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-869-2045. That's 800-869-2045. What do you have to lose? Call 800-869-2045. Again, 800-869-2045.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, August 24th, and here are your headlines. Former NBA player Enes Kanter Freedom says he was kicked out of a WNBA game after a heated confrontation with Chicago Sky guard Natasha Cloud. Freedom claims Cloud cursed at him and made vulgar remarks after he celebrated a three-pointer made by Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham. Security eventually escorted Freedom out of the arena. A new hospital is planned for Atlanta's South Side as Morehouse School of Medicine and Atrium Health are investing $700 million into a project on Metropolitan Parkway. With the city expected to contribute more than $115 million. The hospital is expected to open with 50 beds and eventually expand to more than 700. And finally, North Point Mall could soon be getting a massive makeover. The Alpharetta City Council recently held a vote on a proposal to transform the 100-acre property into a mixed-use district, anchored by a 20,000-seat arena designed to welcome back a potential NHL team to Atlanta. The plan also calls for up to 1,385 apartments, 650 hotel rooms, and more than 1.3 million square feet of office, retail, and restaurant space. It'll be nothing but sunshine across the metro area today with a high of 91 and a low of 66. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Rawr.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That just lets everybody know Bryce just knocks it out of the park that you can just roar at him and he immediately is ready to go. There it is. There's his roar. It's the Morning Xtra right here on Extra 106.3. No Tug today. It's Victor. It's Los. We are doing it until 10 o'clock. Let me bring that up real quick, Bryce, before we jump into this segment. So what is the location of the next hockey arena that we're discussing now?
North Point Mall.
So North Point continues to make their overtures. You have Forsyth County that continues to make their overtures as well. Forsyth, I know, has gotten to the point of like an 18,000-seat arena and all the stuff around there. Now, Forsyth County right now is can do. Fulton, I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the city of Alpharetta. But if you are talking about a space, North Point Mall does make some sense, but it is a busier area.
It's going to be so congested if they do it there.
Well, I think they will just because of the proximity to the Kimmer's house.
Oh, is that the reason why? Well, so many of these studies that have been done basically shows that your hockey audience, and remember, the Thrashers never had a problem putting butts in seats, ever.
I went to almost every game.
That was never a problem. No. I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was packed all the time.
Awesome.
The issue that you had is that Atlanta Spirit Group, Atlanta Spirit LLC, bought the two franchises but had no interest in the Thrashers.
Absolutely none.
They bought it for the Hawks and were planning to spin off the Thrashers. Yeah. So there was never a question as far as fan support or people in the building. It wasn't empty by any means. But you are talking about demographically getting closer to your fan base if you are, into that area of northern Fulton or south Forsyth County.
And I'll tell you, the Thrashers had more fans than the WNBA.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The building's packed. In fact, Thrasher fans, and this is not a knock on the Hawks, the Thrashers fans consistently filled the building more than the Hawks fans did during that time period. Yeah. And it wasn't like the Thrashers were significantly better. It's just hockey, and hockey has a hardcore fan base that'll fill the building.
I think we made it to the playoffs once and lost all 4 games, but it was fun.
The other bummer that's happening now, and maybe Bryce can speak to this, have you noticed what has happened with the attendance when it comes to Atlanta United?
Way down.
Yeah.
Team is not good, though.
I get it. Yeah. Team ain't great. But still, like, at least, I don't know if if you burned off the young people thing.
You want to know a big problem?
Please.
At least this is. I mean, this is my opinion, and they would never admit this. The Atlanta United had too much. They allowed the politics in. They started politicking with if you tried to bring in an American flag or a Trump flag, you were frowned upon. But if you brought in a colorful rainbow flag, well, then that was encouraged. And I'm sorry, I don't care how you live your life. Soccer fans aren't necessarily what they were trying to create. Soccer fans. So it was like they were trying to bring in a group of people who've never really watched soccer, and so. Yeah, when you try to politicize something, you're going to lose that group. You're going to lose the audience eventually.
In my opinion, what made it really work early on, outside of just the winning, but because of the fan atmosphere, which is a factor, but you had a lot of young people that were Midtown oriented, that were new.
It was a cool thing.
It was a cool thing. Yeah. I'm in and out of the building in 2 hours. I can go about my day. Yeah. A 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock start meant you could be at dinner and hanging out with your friends by 6 o'clock. And I think you got a lot of that audience. I just think that whether it's an issue of aging out or just deciding, okay, been there, done that, I think that's a factor in this as well.
It will be interesting. I can't wait to see when the team turns around. And if Tata Martino, their coach, stays, he will turn his team around. And it'll be interesting to see does the ratings go up. Because Atlanta United, they were breaking records for the first couple of seasons.
They were doing 70,000. Yeah. Part of the reason why that we got the World Cup here in Atlanta was because of the support that this community gave towards Atlanta United and the fact that as an MLS team, they were doing 70,000 on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And Arthur Blank, I will give him credit for this, is when they designed Mercedes-Benz, they made a proper pitch or proper field.
Yes, with the size, dimensions, and everything you needed. Yes.
Yeah. And that was key for being part of the World Cup.
Yeah, that was a huge factor given what FIFA basically looks for, and we were able to deliver it here. Arthur Blank was able to deliver it. Yeah. I just think that a lot of this, when we now start talking about hockey, and right now, the way it looks, you're basically trying to build these projects on a little bit of a wing and a prayer that not during the next round of expansion, because that's not where it looks like it's happening. It's another team that will move here, given the fact that two have already left. That's where you're kind of like crossing the fingers. And there are some people that would say, because right now the Southern United States is where you go for like hotbed of hockey, where people will show up all the time, butts and seats, plenty of fans there. You got to get it out from the West.
Yeah.
You know, you got situations like in Phoenix, it's like, oh my God, this is really bad. But the Southern United States and into Canada has shown it's, if you can put a team there, you will be successful.
You'll be successful.
Well, you look at the Gladiators, who's the ECHL team, they'll do like a throwback Thrashers night. And I've gone probably the last 3 or 4 years, and every single night they're selling out 10,000 for that game.
Yeah, they do well.
That's awesome.
We were there, let's see, this was now 5 years ago, where it was me and Matt Chernoff and Chuck Oliver and Brian Hoyt, and we got to do the ceremonial puck drop, and so that was cool. And then during one of the intermissions, we got Hoyt into full hockey gear, goalie gear, and we got to shoot at him, and so that was fun too.
That's awesome.
So I have good feelings towards that entire team and that arena and everything else.
They just changed back to their OG colors.
Oh, they went back to them?
Yeah, they just announced that over the weekend.
Okay. Well, then
they're back to maroon.
Well, they're probably looking at it as, if NHL stays out of town, we're the only real game in town.
So you got Athens up. I mean, you have the Rock Lobsters, but that's a lower level league.
Right.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
But they still get good fans up there as well.
Well, we'll see where this all goes, because every single time you've done that story, I've been like, I think I'm going to wait till the 9 o'clock hour and jump into that, just because it would be interesting if we had another team back in town.
It's going to be really neat to see.
And where do you put them? Because for me, Victor, if you're telling me there's an 18,000 seat arena that's not in downtown Atlanta, I just know that means more shows.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have to talk about hockey. I'm just talking like there's more shows that are closer to my house.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be more bands, more music, more everything.
Somebody will have to make the choice. Do I want to be over at State Farm? Some acts will do that, whereas some acts will play.
Do I want to go?
Yeah. I listen, I love going to see music at Chastain. I love the amphitheater that's over in Alpharetta. I even like going to downtown Cumming City Center and the amphitheater that's there. And I checked out the one in Sugar Hill a few weeks back. I'm all for, like, if you've got more stuff up near me, I'm like, good to go.
Good to go.
Good to go no
Just
matter
put
what.
good parking, and it'll be fun.
100%. You give me an easy way to get in and get out.
Yep.
And a
That's
beverage.
really the key.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Can I do something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of football, soccer, which is what how she calls it. My daughter's listening right now. So I want to say hi to
Hello, daughter. Daughter of Victor.
Little Isa.
There you go, little Isa. All right.
And the last time I did this, I don't know if you remember, when we did that special show, the Kimmer promised her a pony. She's still. Well, he promised that I would get her a pony.
Oh,
so
of
she
course,
does ask for the pony. So, little Lisa, dame un tiempo para buscar una pony para ti. I'm going to wait and look for a pony for her.
I was about to say, I was like, he's going to wait. Now, I will tell you, Kimmer, as the horseman, he's the one who's supposed to be able to come through with this.
Exactly. He should have the connections.
That's who would
Kimmer.
be. Somebody would give Kimmer
Uncle
a free
Kimmer.
horse, a free pony. Come on, Kimmer.
Uncle Kimmer, come through, baby.
Uncle Kimmer's like, listen, this one's really beaten up.
Yeah, I don't remember.
All right, really quickly before we got to get to this break here, I just want to hit this story really quick because this to me is the epitome of the end of the resist movement that started in 2016. Where no matter what Donald Trump came up with, he was the political outsider. The Republicans were part of the resist movement. So were the Democrats. That's the way it was going to go. And so the last vestige of it, at least for now, I think went down over the weekend where John Roberts with the Supreme Court ended up recognizing that when it comes to the lawsuits that have been filed to try and stop the White House ballroom, John Roberts basically turned it into, all right, well, that's going to be looked at by the Supreme Court. What does that mean? Well, the Supreme Court won't take it up until next year. All right? That's when that's going to happen. And when there will be a ruling, maybe it would be next April or May.
Mm-hmm.
It's done by that time.
Right.
And so it's been so silly to see this movement. And largely, like Jessica Tarlov brought it up on Fox News. She's like, we need to get past this. This has not worked. All it did was it put Donald Trump right back into office. And she didn't say it, but it made you look like children. All right, that's what it did. And that is extended to, let's see, there's a pool in D.C. that for some reason they keep complaining about and then vandalizing. There is the White House ballroom, which even though we had an assassination attempt during the correspondence dinner, they were like, I don't know if we really need this. Are you sure?
And every Democrat that comes after Trump is going to use they're going to make it the best elitist ballroom ever, and they will use it to invite their nice Hollywood friends. So they're all going to use it, and it just kills me the way they act now just because it's Trump. Again, if this were Biden or the auto pen or Obama, it would have been the best idea ever, and why didn't they knock it down sooner to build it? That's what they'd be saying.
I mean, considering that for more than 100 years, you have had presidents on both ends that have altered the grounds according to whatever their needs were.
Oh gosh, yes. They built a pool. They filled a pool. I mean, it's
I mean, you had
basketball courts.
Roosevelt had tennis courts.
Yeah, and tennis courts.
I was like, Theodore Roosevelt, when he came back, when Taft was now the president, he was like, what happened to the tennis courts? Because Taft had changed them.
Yeah, he changed it.
It's like that is well within the president's purview to do this. Now, you're building a permanent structure on there, but it's one that's clearly needed in this era.
Absolutely needed. Even the Secret Service will tell you that it's needed. But not only that, the majority of it is being done with private dollars.
Right.
Not taxpayer funds.
No, it's not like we had to figure out, okay, where to bury this into some piece of legislation.
Show me a Democrat that would have done that. They would have taken it from the taxpayers' coffers.
They're doing it like any big university does it. It's like, yeah, gonna have a little bit of money over here. At the same time, who wants their name on this place? I remember. So this was now 2 years ago. So it was in Dallas for volleyball nationals, and I was there with. I'll keep his name. Won't name him just in case he catches some flack over it. But he was there in town with his daughter, and he had lined out a private viewing of TCU and their retrofitted stadium, their new portion of their stadium, all this sort of stuff. He was connected in this way. And so I went with him and one other person, and we got to tour the whole facility.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And one of the areas they took us into, Victor, there was like a private club area. And it's basically 5 different luxury boxes that are all like in this one area. And in the area, that's where it's all catered, it's all taken care of. And I asked the person who was taking us on this tour, I was like, so what did each one of these families have to pony up? He goes, $9 million. So when the stadium project was like $50-some million of what they were putting into it, these families donated the bulk of it. Now they all have their names over everything, okay? Right. But here is like $9 million, and you got the perks off of that. Well, why do you think that there are people that are like, yeah, I want that ballroom? Because you know what? When there's an event, I want the most exclusive access to the most exclusive club in the entirety of the world.
There you go.
And that's why you do it. And that's how they're able to get it done. There you go. All right, that's Victor. I'm Los. This is the Morning Extra. Tug will be back tomorrow as he gets back from vacation. All right, when we get back, an iconic American city that is now changed in one generation, and it ain't for the best. Talk about that as we finish up the Morning Extra right here on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, August 24th. The Atlanta Braves got a win to close out the weekend in the Little League Classic, beating the Milwaukee Brewers last night 4-2. The final, Tyler Mahle ends up throwing 5 innings of just 1-run ball. Michael Harris II hit his 21st homer of the season. As for the Braves, they are off today before opening up another big series at Truist Park starting tomorrow night as the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers will be in town. More chaos in college football as a court ruling will allow Daquan Wright to join the LSU football team. Wright has been in camp with the Cleveland Browns but will be waived. He is the first player who will return to college football after signing with an NFL team, and for now will get his 5th year of eligibility. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
At Jim Ellis Chevrolet, buying your next vehicle can be as simple, convenient, and personal as you want it to be. With the Jim Ellis Expressway, you can start or complete your entire purchase online right from home.
Shop at your own pace, on your own time, with no pressure. Prefer to handle things independently? You can. Want guidance along the way? A knowledgeable Jim Ellis Chevrolet sales professional is ready to help whenever you need it.
Value your trade, explore payment options, complete your purchase online, and even have your new vehicle delivered to your home.
Buying online may be convenient, but having the right dealership behind you matters. Jim Ellis Chevrolet is a local, family-owned dealership built on trust, transparency, and long-term relationships.
Unlike some national auto dealers, Jim Ellis Chevrolet takes care of you before the sale, during the purchase, and long after you drive home.
Convenience makes buying easier. Trust makes owning easier. Visit JimEllisChevrolet.com.
Or stop by the dealership on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter. Jim Ellis Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
There's a lot riding on every digging project. You want it done and over with. And the utility companies want their underground lines untouched and intact. Georgia 811 helps connect the dots. If you're digging, submit your ticket to us at least 3 business days before the project starts. We'll notify our utility members, and they'll send locators to mark their lines at your site. Georgia 811, connecting the dots for safe digging.
Sponsored by Georgia 811.
For the purpose of this commercial, we'll refer to erectile dysfunction as ED.
This is the story of Ed. No one likes Ed. Ed can be a real problem, a real downer. Ed can come between you and your partner. And if you let Ed go unchecked, Ed'll continue to destroy your hanky-panky plans. Ed has taken over your life. On date night, all you can think about is Ed. When you roll over in bed for the morning smooch, there's Ed. And when you're cooking a romantic dinner for your wife, there's Ed in an apron. So how do you get rid of Ed? Kick them to the curb with Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They're Ed experts. They understand what causes Ed to be Ed, and they know how to get Ed going in the right direction. He'll learn to stand on his own with proven all-natural therapies that don't require surgery or downtime. So if you've had enough of Ed, take matters into your own hands. Call Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911. Learn more online at tbtofga.com.
Got a home project coming up? Don't miss the All Four Seasons Home Show, hosted by Dan Watkins of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors and Chris Lalamia of the Trusted Toolbox. Every week, they talk with experts from Atlanta's top home improvement companies, sharing tips on plumbing, roofing, landscaping, and more. This week, we have Jordan Warrington from Junkman Removal. So don't miss the All Four Seasons Home Show, Saturday mornings at 9 on Extra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz. He's only on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
One of the problems with leftists in this country, or you might call them progressives, or I rather like the term libtards, one of the problems is they just cannot define the terms they use.
Atlanta Talk radio legends are only on Extra 106.3.
Welcome back. It is the Morning Extra, the final segment of the Morning Extra, which I know what you're thinking. What am I going to do without these guys for 24 hours? And listen, you're just going to have to make an adjustment. You can reach out to Bryce. Bryce will help you. Bryce, I just have to let you know something. And I'm not doing this to pump you up too much.
Okay.
You are the Go Bear monster. But the fact that you will not be working with Victor for like 48 hours has him bumming because he's really enjoyed the fact that he's had you like by his side for live radio.
It does bum me out.
Okay, I'll be here in spirit.
I was like, because you're the best sidecar guy there is. Like if I have to ride into the Devil's Den, I'm like, I need him in the sidecar with the spike on his helmet.
I'll just be roaring the whole time.
Going 150 miles an hour.
Exactly. Do you imagine if Victor was like, listen, I'm going to take this bike. We're going to go 150 and I want you on the back of it. I'd be like, no, man. No.
I'd consider it.
I'm shameful to admit that I have taken a ride. I honestly don't like to ride people or take passengers on a crotch rocket. But I did do it, and maybe I should explain what I mean by that.
I was about to say, it's like
maybe I should explain
because I want to. I've got a question after this.
A super bike, a one of your fast motorcycles that you see flying down the highways. I did take a passenger at about 120, 130 miles an hour before.
So let me ask you a question. So
I wouldn't do it again.
Car breaks down. Let's say you're heading back to the mountains. Car breaks down. You start making some phone calls. Recognize AAA is not going to be helpful for the time. Nobody is there. Family's out of town. Your daughter it's not going to work. She's just 2, so she's not going to come get you.
You're right, no.
But Kimmer says, I will come pick you up, and when he shows up, he's on his bike.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm without a doubt. I'm getting on with Kimmer's bike. I don't believe Kimmer would do it.
Wrap your arms around me.
Come on, big boy. No, the Kimmer will take an Asian swimsuit model on the bike. But I don't think he's going to take me on his bike, and nor would I. I don't blame him at all.
I was just curious. But, now, what if he was really insistent?
But if he was really insistent,
he's like, "You don't understand, Victor. The weather is getting bad." And you're like, "Well, there's no one to help."
Why do I feel like we're about to get a phone call from the Kimmer?
The hell with this. Let's go. Keep doing this. Sorry.
He starts explaining to you. Hold on to my belt buckle.
Hold on.
It's the tightest thing here. Hold on to it so you stay safe back there.
What does that even mean?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know, Kimmer.
I was just wondering, just a hypothetical just to see how Victor would react.
Well, would it be the chopper or would it be his old Harley?
I got bad news, Victor. Kimmer said chicks only.
Oh.
See, I was right.
Well, in this day and age, you just have to tell Kimmer that you identify for the time being. My car broke down, and now I identify as a woman for the next hour.
Only biological women are allowed on the Kimmer's bike.
He didn't clarify. He didn't say that they have to have the right chromosomes. No, he did not.
Oh, boy.
By the way, you should join the Kimmer this week. The Kimmer Show is live over at Chuck and Shack Oyster Bar incoming Wednesday, 3 to 6 at 415 Peachtree Parkway. Come hang out with the Kimmer and the gang while enjoying fresh oysters, steamed seafood, hot wing sandwiches, cold drinks, and more. Locally owned and always a good shuckin' time. It's Shuckin' Shack Oyster Bar incoming. Notice, I accentuate that.
I was going to say, I like the way you slow that down.
Slow it down to make sure there is no doubt at all as to what we're doing there. All right, I wanted to bring this up with you as we get a chance to finish up the show. So I was reading this post, and listen, it's in theory, but some of it resonated with me. I remember it's now 20-some years ago, and at the time, I was dating this girl, and she was really rising in like the magazine world and doing very well. And we'd been dating for a few months, and I kind of thought there was probably something there, and she kind of thought there was probably something there. And she ended up getting a job offer in New York.
You lived the Devil Wears Prada movie.
I hope not. I haven't seen it, but, you know,
it's kind of the story.
My wife has. So I told her, I flat out told her, I was like, I can't live in New York. It's like, I have no interest in it. It's not going to happen. I go, but if you stay in Atlanta, I was like, I will move there just to see where this thing goes. Well, as it turns out, 20-some years later, that's my wife.
No way. Oh, that's wild.
Who didn't take the job in New York, yet was talented enough that they gave her the job out of New York anyway here in Atlanta.
Wow.
So not only did I get fooled into coming here to Atlanta, then I got fooled into marriage and 2 kids and everything else, and she still got the job. All right? Now,
wow.
But at the time,
That's
it really hit the young people go to New York to build their career.
Yep.
And I was reading this post. This post had pointed out, this is Vicky for NYC, says, here's the thing about what's going on in NYC. There's now a critical mass of young people who came to New York on their parents' dime and treat it like a summer camp. They're electing each other. She went on to say, young people used to come to the city to make it, whether it was finance, fashion, art, business, whatever. They knew if they would work hard and they craved success. It said, so they accepted the fact that they'd be broke and living in a share with 3 other people and barely making rent for most of their 20s, but would come out the other side better for it. It was called, quote, paying your dues, and the city ran like that for generations. It was a wildly successful system. She finishes off, now they come here with a trust fund and no interest in jobs or personal success, so they can get fake nonprofit work and go into politics and ruin everyone else's life because they have no real talent or ambition and they're angry about it.
Yeah.
I was like, that resonated with me in part because of what I saw what was happening to the woman I ended up marrying. She was going to go to do exactly that.
Go do that. Wow.
And that was the mentality. And this person is pointing out that's not the mentality here anymore. Crazy.
Not anymore. I used to, in the early 2000s, I got to spend a lot of time in New York. I had a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, who lived in Brooklyn Heights. And I dated a girl from New Jersey. I spent a lot of time up there, and it is not the same. I mean, the last time I was in New York City was probably towards the end of Biden. The number, just the way it's changed, and the number of illegals that were just everywhere, and it's just not the same city.
Well, you are talking about taking an entire hotel and for 4 years using taxpayer money to keep the illegals rolling through there. And then to know that when it comes to the native New Yorkers, this so screams Gangs of New York. Okay, like if you know that Scorsese movie, it's the natives versus the people that just got off the boat. All right, the natives voted for Cuomo. They're like, this other guy, Mamdani, is way too out there. But what happened? Mamdani got an overwhelming number of the new foreigner, the new New Yorker vote.
Such a great example. The white, overeducated trust fund.
The new to New York trust fund, all that, and your new foreigners.
Your brown guy, your black voter did not overwhelmingly vote for Mamdani.
No. If they were native New Yorkers, the numbers were closer when it came to Cuomo, like 68%.
Yeah.
But when it came to Mamdani, it was like 87% of this other vote. And that was the difference. That's how it ended up playing out. Old New York versus new New York.
Great point.
That's how it's going to be. Victor, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for Friday. Thank you for today.
It's been a pleasure.
Anytime you want on in here, you let us know.
Man, anytime and anytime Tug wants to go to the beach, I'm here.
Listen, Tug's got all the vacation left. I don't. I think Tug's got like another week coming up here in a few weeks. So hopefully you're available.
I'll be ready.
Talk to Tug. Love to have you on in here.
Absolutely.
Thank you to all the listeners out there. Thank you to even Liberal John, who we couldn't even get on the air because he hung up the phone. Come on, John. Come on.
Call anytime.
I wanted to get you on in here. Thank you to Bryce for all your hard work. All right, that's going to do it for us. Let's get you over to Glenn Beck. Until tomorrow, take care. Have a good one.
More than just headlines on your ride to work? It's the Morning Extra, live from 6 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Experts rebuttal. I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. The final prosecution rebuttal in the Massachusetts murder trial of nurse Lindsay Clancy after defense testimony that she was clearly psychotic when she murdered her 3 kids. Fox's Nate Foy in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
This trial has really become a battle of the experts, with 2 forensic psychiatrists drawing totally opposite conclusions from the same evidence about whether or not Lindsay Clancy knew the difference between right and wrong when she killed her 3 young children. On the stand today is Dr. Avram Mack. He's the prosecution's rebuttal witness, 1 of 3, and he's going to take the stand after testifying on Friday, saying that he does not believe that Clancy suffered from psychosis during the killings. Clancy's defense team argues that she did experience postpartum psychosis, and more than that, they argue that she was over-medicated and experienced command hallucinations.